have on. Oh, I got you. You could go get. You could work my computer in the RV.
Yeah, I was. That's where I left earlier. Yeah. But then I came in here when I knew it, you know. Can I get a audio test on both ends real quick? And play the video?
Check, check. It's right there. It's good.
Yeah, so like this one?
Well, I don't have audio. What is audio there now for?
That's what I just said, is that this is your new mute button.
Oh, so you don't mute there?
No, this is this mute button. See, look. Click over here. Because remember, you clicked live over there. So now, if you go...
I got it. I
live,
just did it.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. But this isn't live right now. You have to, like, yeah.
All right, guys. Let's see who's here. Oh, whoa. We got people popped up. All right, guys. This is going to be good. We got the Diddy case coming, a final. I got a beverage, a cigar. Ah. Man, that is good. A little Glenlivet. We're all set. Now, guys, let me see how it works, and we will be back to normal. Alrighty. Here we go. And you can hear, you should be able to hear. I can't hear that, so. Why can't I hear that? Alright, let me see. Hello, hello. Oh, yeah. He's got to go here. Sure, mic, audio output, screen 1. Hello, 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 hello. I am not hearing that. Nick, if you can hear me. All right, guys, from Germany. Oh, wow, we got some people. I forgot I was subscribed. Yes, guys, hello. I was on Discord earlier, guys, so anybody in Discord, I guess they didn't have videos. I'm going to get my own videos to check out. I thought they were supposed to be doing that. I thought somebody was doing that, but that's okay. Obviously, it's okay. I'm happy with my cigar, my stuff.
Hey, what's wrong?
Why is this one's not working now?
What, this?
Yeah.
You have your headphones in?
Yeah.
So, can you go here? And see if it's connected to the Apple? It might have connected to something else. Scroll down. So that means they're muted. Do you want to go test another video real quick?
Oh yeah, that's true. They could be muted. All right, they could be muted. All right, good. I'll get somebody.
I mean, real quick, just go there. You know.
I'll do it. I get it. I get it.
Okay. I think it's probably them. What if I turn this TV up? Look. Oh yeah, look. This is at 100. It's them.
It's them. All right, good. So, but it doesn't seem like it's them when they go on live, like when they were talking.
It wasn't. Yeah, you could hear him.
Yeah. So I'll just wait. We're waiting, guys. I'm waiting for the verdict. It's gonna come soon. What happened was, okay.
Maybe if there's any questions or anything they want you to look up.
All right, 4 hours ago. No, that's not the one I want. Let me go to live. Uh-oh, here it is.
Back live, 3 p.m. YouTube. Be there.
Hour 6.
Finalize and find out what the verdict is in the Diddy case.
I'm sure everybody can hear that. I'm trying to get the chats over to where I need to get them, guys. There we go. I got it back. Okay, guys, I'm sorry about that. Let me do this. And
we asked Sean to be able to have a 14-month sentence. He has taken full accountability. He's not using drug addiction as a crutch. He's saying he wants to repair. He will never be a danger. He is a civil rights leader. His good outweighs his bad by far. He would go to Miami and seek immediate therapy should he be released. And right now, or a little while ago, Sean Combs, a reverend, has come forward and spoken on his behalf, who says, I'll be personally responsible.
They're not going to
for
sentence him
seeing
to 11 years, number
rehabilitated.
one.
I
And
close with this. As
hold
Michael
on.
Jordan said, these sneakers are just sneakers, but when my son puts them on.
Let me explain something to you guys. First of all, I'll do this the right way. And let me explain this as much as I can. Diddy's not going to get 11 years. If he gets 11 years, I'm going to fall out of this chair. If he ever got 20, when some people say he got 20 years, you got to be crazy if you think he's going to get 20 years. You really do. If he does get 20 years, listen, our broken system is bad enough, man. It really is. Now, let me tell you, I waited on sentencing. But what I did, and so did Diddy, because he's in custody right now. Hold on, let's see what she has to say. It's my girl. That's Sierra. Yep. I said that too. 5 or 6, he's going to get 60 months or 72 months. I have, Henry. I've been very good on this. I don't think you're right. Hold on. You know, keep going. You know, I'm going to answer some of our questions. No, I don't think he would win an appeal if he had a 11-year sentence because it's within the guidelines. If he's out of the guidelines, maybe, but even then, federal judges don't get turned over that much.
Fix the screen?
Yeah, I did. Is everything good?
Yeah, I ran in here too. Yep. Okay. And then now, can you go right here and then push lock?
Why am I not seeing the two mics? The two things. One for this and one for that.
So when you're on big screen, this mutes so they don't hear it.
Ah, gotcha. Okay. Good enough.
But
Good.
can you lock the webcam? If you just hover over that,
Yeah,
you
I know
can
that.
lock it. Yeah.
I locked both of them.
But I also think it's very hard for a judge to totally separate those acts from his final decision.
Joe, got a question from Amanda Altman. If there is a possibility of 20 years, right, because transportation to engage in prostitution.
what they got convicted of, what they've been convicted of, if anything, before. There's certain things that they put in as part of their calculus to say, based on the sentencing guidelines, normally someone winds up here, and that's why we hear 5 to 7 so much. But then there's a question as to whether and what facts actually have P. Diddy either going higher than the sentencing guidelines or going lower than the sentencing guidelines. And then, of course, that's where all the argument is, right? Because the defense wants time served, the prosecution wants.
Boy, I hope he
years.
gets time
so
served.
Everybody
I really do,
piles
guys.
on the things that they think should make us deviate away from the guidelines to the north or away.
We're going to see. I'm dying. I can't wait. I'm actually excited. It's crazy, but I want to see justice.
Themselves
I don't even believe this case was about justice.
And that
I really don't.
The starting place.
To me, it's not about justice, this case. It's crazy to think that it might be only 5 years. Aricus Baines, why would you think that's crazy? I think it'd be overkill of what he was convicted of. Let's always get that right. I'm not a P. Diddy supporter, but I am a supporter of the law.
Difficult position, I think, if I may say that respectfully. You find yourself, I think, saying you have two people here. Who's the real Sean Combs? I like to believe that the real Sean Combs is in the grain of
Now
all
they're
those
just
letters
filling
you read
airtime, and
what
I'd
you
rather
heard
listen to
from
them
the family.
be
It's
stupid
interesting,
because
there. Sierra, you're
I don't
outside
get
that
that.
courthouse. You've been our eyes and ears about what has been happening there since the start of the day. As we're now coming towards the end.
Thank you, Detroit.
So now
I
as we're coming
appreciate that.
potentially to a sentence, an official sentence. So has the scene changed?
he's not going to go free. I don't think
yes
so.
and no. I mean, what's interesting about today is
No, I
everyone
don't
has
think
been
he's gonna much
relatively
get less.
low key, and I mean that in the way of yes, we are in the Southern District of New York. We do hear sirens honking, people yelling, and general commotion. But by and large, today is much more calm than it was the day of the verdict back in July when it came down. And I mean, that was a pretty shocking verdict, right? The fact that there was a
Why does everybody think it was a shocking verdict, guys? I don't think that was a shocking verdict. I think it was a just verdict. It wasn't proven, and we don't know what was said in that courtroom. But you have to believe if there was that many people, and it wasn't a hung jury. Listen, it was not a hung jury. They came to a conclusion,
that people are getting off work
Done.
early. It's a Friday. They want to see what's
No
going
way,
on.
Donald
Maybe
H.
it's
10
really
years
that
of
people are just getting
flip me out.
extra antsy. They want to see what is going to happen, and we're inching closer.
He
and
does
closer
have
to
discretion
Tuesday. Sean
as of
himself
2024. A new law
speaking,
came
so
out,
we can hear
or
about
a sentencing
that,
guideline.
hopefully.
They
And then
can.
additionally, when the
Something about
sentence
this girl I
finally
like.
does come
I don't
down.
know
so
what it is.
Generally, it's pretty calm.
And I'm
but
not
there
a
are
weirdo.
decent
Trust me,
amount of
guys.
people who are here.
I just think she's, my
Yeah,
type,
when is that
perfect
gonna
age for
happen?
me.
It'd be very interesting to see.
Only kidding,
Serena, for Xavier Donaldson says I spoke. To,
That's
Chief
coming back.
Superintendent in Miami.
Good question.
I
The real
spoke to
deal is
superintendents of
coming back.
education in
So much
Miami.
more.
Everyone said this
I
is
got everything
something
set so I
different.
could do things
Let me
just the
close
way I
with this.
want.
People
and,
like me
and
are
it
supposed
took
to
a while
be here to
because
show
GTA 6 is
that
coming
we
out,
can
guys.
Do it. He's made.
And with GTA 6 coming out, it's going to be crazy for me because of what's going on in Miami, and it's about Miami, and it's going to be crazy, man. You guys are going to get tours. I'm going to walk people through the city. It's going to be crazy. I really is. There's nobody who's done what I do there. Free Diddy. Brett, there you go. Get him out. This is such a waste of money, too, if you think about it. Let's see what she's saying.
And I've been on both sides of the aisle as a prosecutor and a criminal defense attorney. Just in my experience, typically a judge will show up with some idea of what they plan on doing.
Yes, he will.
In
She's
fact,
good.
a lot of judges show up with a script of their reasoning for why they're doing what they're doing. Now, can they cross out the number and put a different number in there at the end of the day? Sure. That does happen. I've seen that happen as well, and they can be moved by that.
Well, how do
But
you know that? How do you know that? That's a good point. Yeah.
I can tell. You can tell
You
when
can
you're
tell?
there.
You can tell? Okay.
Yeah, because you see the judge saying all these very eloquent things and sometimes reading off a page, and you're like, you came in here prepared.
Well, okay, so that's actually a good point. Let me ask you.
Crooked
If
diamond.
the judge comes back after all this and says,
Yeah.
I need 10 minutes. And does that mean that he's changing his sentence?
It could be that they're in the
Diddy,
back doing
Chris?
some red lines and some,
Diddy was convicted of the Mann Act, which is literally taking a prostitute across state lines for work. Obviously, they want that. None of them, well, most of them, a few say, after they've did it 3 times, I don't want to do it now. Then why'd you take the money?
Too much. That's just too much to handle.
He was acquitted of trafficking, human trafficking, sex trafficking, and he was acquitted of the RICO. So that means he was found not guilty. Not guilty. They can't even bring those charges back. Done. And the only thing is that he did what a lot of people do, and I've done it, and most attorneys, most business owners, most athletes, most actors. It's like if I took a woman, I don't even like prostitute name, because I believe that that's bull. It's been around longer than ever. The sex trade, prostitution, what do you want to call it? Listen, as long as nobody's being forced to do anything and it's on their own will, who are we to tell people what to do? Look at me looking at the mic. Let me see what Joe says.
You and I, do I walk away from this believing that people with resources are not going to still be better off than without those that are without resources? No, it's not going to change anybody's mind that way. Making him an example,
Giuseppe.
I guess
Exactly
that's
what
a
I'm doing.
possibility, but he's so different because some of us, or most of us, won't be similarly situated. But will he
That guy's right.
Look at maybe a lack of him being contrite,
It is. I like
humble,
I like
etc., and hammer him a little bit because of it? Yeah, he absolutely might, but I'm not sure any of us, or many of us, would walk away saying, well, when I'm in Diddy's position, I'll never do that, because there's so few people that are in that position, other than setting an example for Hollywood, right?
Yeah, and
Which
if you
is
cross
not
your
most
state
of us.
lines, that makes it
So
federal.
the making of an example, yeah, perhaps as it pertains to the domestic violence side, without, considering that Diddy is such a unicorn. But most of us are not going to be walking away going,
Okay, guys, let me get it straight again, because a lot of you guys weren't here. Let me tell you why they did this whole thing, and you'll understand it. And I read so many documents, and here's what I mean by that. A lawsuit was filed by his producer, 4 years ago now. And he mentioned in the lawsuit, because I read it, a civil lawsuit, that Diddy had sex tapes on and had hidden cameras in the bedrooms of his facilities in Miami and in California. Now, that's what he said. And he also said there's politicians and athletes and active, famous people who are there. So, what does the government do? They do a simultaneous raid on his California home and his Miami home. Not his New York home. Not that. So what do they do that for? At 6 in the morning with 2 armored personnel vehicles, all that. There's no drugs in there. There's nothing, no guns, nothing accusing him of that. What did they do? They went in there for the tapes. Supposedly. Did you hear anything about tapes? You heard about it before this raid or before everything. Did you hear anything about this? Just like Epstein, you're not going to see these things. They're held by the powers to be. You're going to see people who were one way all of a sudden start leaning one. I'm telling you, it's a racket. The government is so out of line on this case. And I mean that. Because if this is what we've come to as an American, and I could care less about his 1,000 bottles of oil. I could care less of all that. Let me hear what my girl Sierra has to say.
The inmates with. So we've seen a lot of letters about what he did. What's the impact there? If you could summarize that for how has he been helping people inside? And 2, this
Looks
is a
like my
question
old girlfriend.
from Caba Corp TV.
My old
The
girlfriend
judge had
stole
3
it.
months to look at all these statements. Why wait until the sentence?
The acquittal's
day to
over, Thomas
decide?
A.G. He's
So I
been
guess it's an
convicted. This is the
idea of-
sentencing.
There has been a lot that the judge has had to see, and there's a lot that has been prepared. You need a day to actually go through it.
I
and make
agree
the
with you,
final arguments.
Mika.
But as we talk about
Nothing.
what was being prepared, what were these inmates saying?
No,
about
he's
Sean?
not a lower level Epstein at all.
So let's start with your first question, Jesse. What was P. Diddy
I agree
Sean
with you,
Combs
Lord
helping all of these
Timothy.
inmates with? And it sounds like it was some
Consenting
sort of
adults.
game, the free game with Diddy. And basically what it was to lift spirits. Talk about
Man, this
what we're
sentencing
going
coming,
to
man.
do
Let
to
everybody.
get
It's
out
gonna
of
be
here.
great. I'm gonna go crazy.
Positivity. And again, we have to remember that prior to all of this, Sean Diddy Combs, we know his name because he was
I'm
very
predicting,
successful,
Mia,
both as
and
a
I predicted
music
early.
artist, but also an entrepreneur.
I'm
We're
almost
talking about
going.
Bad Boy
It's
Records
going to be
or
72
Sean
months
John
or 60
Yummy on
months.
Tequila,
My
whatever it
opinion.
may be.
And I
He
read a
had
lot.
A business enterprise, really, so to speak. And I think what he's doing. And
Way to
helping
go,
these inmates
Alberta,
is, hey,
Canada.
here's what's going to happen when you get out of here. Here are ways that you can
Free Diddy,
better
I'm in.
yourself, both in the career way, but also the mindset of, being a better person, reform.
That's exactly
the
right,
bottom
Henry.
line
I've been
and all
saying
of
that. You
And
don't know
I
if he
think
had
that's
a
the underlying
slip and
thing
slide
here
going
with
from the
hearing
roof.
You just were reading one of the updates from Giovanni in court saying, yes, I have in fact seen a difference with P. Diddy, with Sean Combs.
This is
interacting
bullshit. This
with
judge
some of
knows
these
this is bullshit right now.
other inmates.
They're
and,
talking about what
done
he's
with
doing
them
in it.
at
Yeah, I
night.
get
Now,
it and
onto
all
your
that
second
bullshit.
question
Maybe
about
later,
Judge
like one
Arun
guy said
Sumari
on the
and
thing,
fact that he's
maybe
had,
with his
3
case
months to
manager.
go through and read all
Right
of
now,
these
this
letters
judge
and
is saying
collect
that
all
he's
that
doing all the
information.
bullshit. And he
Honestly,
should. I
if
mean, I'm
you're
glad he's
asking
doing
me,
it.
I
Most
think he's
people
been
don't do it.
ruminating on it
but I'm
for
glad he's
maybe
doing
more
it.
than all of that time. He knew when he sat on the
I don't
bench
think he's
for
going to
the
get
trial
house
that he was
arrest,
going to be
Wayne. I
involved
hope he
in
does.
sentencing, if there would be
5
a
to 7,
conviction.
plus
So,
he
of
will
course, he's
do.
paying close attention
I
throughout the
there's
entire
some
trial
people
to
said
be
he's not
fair at the trial, but he
allowed
has
to do
have
the
in the back of his
ADAP,
mind, okay, if there is a
RDAP.
conviction, which
I
it
wish I
turns
could get
out
Paulie
there
on the
was,
line. I
he's
got to
gonna
get
have to
my
be
buddy.
involved in this
I'm gonna work that
sentencing.
out
So
with
if
Nick.
you're
I'm gonna have
asking
him
me,
come in
and
as an
kind of to the
expert.
point that Serena Townsend was just talking about there, I believe that Judge Arun Sumari
You're
went in
confused.
today
What do you
kind of
think
knowing
he
what
deserves?
was getting into. I'm sure
I don't think he should have been
I'm
charged.
sure he thought
I
about
really
all of it
don't.
Because
Hold on.
yes, it seems like
I don't think he should have been charged, and here's why. Or at least what he's charged with right now. What he was convicted of. The Mann Act, taking a prostitute across the line for money. In fact, he was the voyeur. So he's the guy who paid. You know what a voyeur is, everybody? Look at me looking at them. He was the voyeur. Now, the voyeur is the guy who watches. Listen, everybody's got their kink. I like it all. But no, he's a voyeur, or he was a voyeur. I don't know. My point is, they're not even saying, oh, he not even accused of rape or this or that. And as you know, have you seen any one word about a child underage? No, because there's that. People put sensational, and people remember that, and that's what's bad. So I disagree 100%. I don't think he should have got charged. Now that he did, and this act, I think he's only going to get 60 months, or only, to me it's only, 60 months or 72, which is 5 or 6 years.
Giovanni Saris says in court, this is a new update, when a person creates his own program while incarcerated, it shows something. I know, I've done it. Not even a parking ticket since. I work with probation. I speak at many different functions with the private prison operator that we work with. So trying to suggest that Sean Combs, if he was going to be speaking next week or was planning to, it was for a good purpose. It wasn't like, hey, I'm going to be out. I'm going to
I don't think he's going to get on appeal.
I think they're trying to really reverse that narrative. That seems to be what they've been doing throughout the course of the day. Serena, this is interesting. It's a question from Brittany Curry. Is there a possibility of Diddy being able to have his record expunged after so much time passes?
That's a toughie. I wouldn't expect that a record like this would be expunged anytime soon. There are mechanisms to expunge records in certain situations.
I'll tell you people how to do that.
I would be surprised with this type of conviction, especially considering how many counts he was facing and all of the extraneous stuff.
What pissing me off about this lady right now? Oh, I don't think he'll get, opportunity because of amount. What does that mean? The government could charge you with anything it wants? Know it's going to lose and not care? I know people are going to say, if you know anything about the law, no, you got to get you got to go to a grand jury and have probable cause and all that bullshit. But there's an old saying, you can indict a ham sandwich, and it is true on that. Hey, Nick, question for you, bud.
I have a statement, too.
Okay, can we get Paulie Tellini on? Is there going to be a way to do that?
Yeah, I can.
Can
You
you?
have to wear a headset, and then
I have a headset.
I'll figure it out, but...
Not now, okay, because...
No, look at this button right here. It's a cell phone.
Which one?
This one. 3. So you can
3?
connect, yeah.
So how would I call him?
I have to figure that out.
Okay.
I could do it now, but...
No. But next time, I want to get Paulie. He would be a great expert on this right
And
now.
again, hey, we need to set something up with you and JG to do it.
Yeah, sure. We'll do a bunch of that.
Because you guys are great friends, it'll be an awesome...
This is great, too. I love the setup.
It's not like
I
you're
like
talking to
this.
someone
I
random.
like this.
Yeah, I see you're doing the
Convicted of
beatbox really good.
transportation
Yeah.
to engage in prostitution may not have the same ability to do good as Sean Combs?
Oh, look at this.
Oh, here.
I like, I want to
Sean
know
Combs
if
has
every
the
one of
ability
these
to do it,
guys
resources
never...
put behind it, right?
Listen,
And so
you
it is
know what I
something to
believe
be
in this,
considered,
guys.
but it shouldn't be determined.
Right? Money is money.
Because,
How many
you
people,
know, if I'm being
try to
cynical,
take
there's
out
a
a
guy
girl,
buying
spend a
his
lot of money
way,
to get laid?
Out of trouble,
Yeah.
Can I say? I think you need to make the point clearer on when they keep saying he's Epstein. So Epstein had children.
I know, Nick. Okay.
I know.
Okay.
But
Got it. I'm
Can I
reading
finish
it.
real quick? Diddy's whole thing is grown adults.
We know. Well, I keep talking about that.
The way you're putting it is like, I don't know. Could be more clear.
I gotta show that. Yeah, his own guard, but his own guard. You know, listen. Obviously, there were bad things said,
That were
and
actually
I do
victims.
agree
So,
with that.
you
But what do you believe, and why wasn't it in court, and why is it not legal? What's going on? Tito, yes, it is my birthday today. Thank you, and that's why I have a cigar. I don't know. Is anybody looking at these? I'm sorry, guys. It's there. Is anybody looking at these court artists? To me, they're terrible. It's just my own opinion. I mean, what is that? I don't get it. Is that what they see? You know, the talented people, but I don't get it. Thank you for the happy birthday wishes, guys. Justin Bieber got Diddy. You guys just read and read and read. Brett Frey, I agree. He said he wouldn't, but yep. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Now he wants a second chance. Listen, who doesn't want a second chance? I got it. Listen, I make Diddy look like a priest. Come on, guys. Forget what I did. I mean, let me see what Sierra has
This
to
morning, reporter Elizabeth Milner and I met up, pretty early. Again, there was kind of a long line, so I saw her before she went into the courthouse, where she is right now in the sentencing room. And we were chatting about this, and Elizabeth said, yeah, I've actually heard rumors that maybe this could go into Monday. So
tell you what,
it is
anybody
kind of
puts
out
on
there
this
in the
this
ether
chat,
that,
if
yeah,
anybody
maybe
on this
could
chat
go
puts
out until
the
Monday.
sentence he
However,
gets,
it's
he gets a
interesting
package
that
with
the
a
sentencing
starter
has
pack,
lasted as long as it has already.
$50
I mean,
starter
it's
pack,
3:30
ashtray,
exactly Eastern time,
something
as
else,
I'm
whatever.
talking to you
I
right
will
now,
send
this
it if
Sunday
anybody
at
gets
around
it right,
10 o'clock
exactly
this
on the
morning.
number.
For
So
it to
throw
go
your
this
number up
long
there, because I
already
will
is
look at
very
that. Take
interesting.
care.
I think at the very least,
Thank
it
you, Tom
stands
Hill.
out the lengthy process that has happened so far. But as we've seen with anything in the case against P. Diddy, anything is possible, and that means it
Yeah,
could
it was for
possibly
minors, but as
trickle
I
over
say,
into Monday. I
there's
don't know
no
that it's
minors
likely,
involved.
but
Nothing
it
even
could
was
happen.
mentioned again
Well,
after that.
Mark
And if they had
Niccolo,
tapes with
I
minors,
think
you don't
the
think that
argument
would be
you could
out
say
there?
is Sean
Come on,
Combs,
guys. We all know it
defense
would
attorney,
be.
just made a statement.
And
in court.
everybody
It's
knows
getting
that.
late.
Uh-oh,
I
statement.
started in the Manhattan DA's office in 1990. We mostly had to put people in jail. In 1996, the Center for Court Innovation started John Jay, did a lot of studies. Domestic violence tends to come from childhood trauma. I think that's what he was saying. So interesting trying to
B,
explain
I
that
think
again
you're right.
about,
5 years with 3 years.
trauma,
No, not
drug
suspended.
use,
They don't do that in the
what have
feds.
potentially
He's going to get
spawned a
maybe
lot of
5 years and
Sean
3 years
Combs
paper.
behavior. Serena,
2 years,
we're
4
getting
years.
to
Okay, I'm watching all
potentially
these
the end of
numbers.
this.
Give me
How
months.
does
Can
it
you all
work
change
now?
that to months,
Sean
please?
Combs will provide a statement.
Because he's not going to get sentenced to
What's gonna
12 years.
happen
That's
next in
144
terms of what
months.
the judge will do? Is he going
I
to
want to
take a
know
break?
exactly how many
How long
months.
will he
120
speak for? What can
months,
we
10
expect?
years, 60 months, 5 years.
Well,
Figure
different
it out.
judges are
Use your
different
phone.
with respect to how quickly they render their decision
36
after hearing all of
months.
this. I think even if the judge did come in with his prepared decision and he knows what he's
You
going
can,
to do,
Mia.
if I
Nothing
were
wrong
a
about
betting
that.
girl, I would bet that he will take at least a short break, even just for optics, to show that he's considering everything that happened today. And then we'll get his decision. He'll probably make not the most lengthy speech, but he'll probably say a bunch of things. before
Nobody's
just
saying
letting it
the
all out
exact
there.
what really this is
And
about.
then we'll-
Okay. Nobody is saying what this is about. This is about the government wanting those tapes. I'm saying it outright. The government does not play fair. Believe me, I know. Listen, I love my country, and I really do, and I love our system, but it's broke. It needs to be changed. It's too sensationalized. They let the media, whether you like it or not, sways. I am not trying to sway anybody's mind because I don't know Diddy. I can't name a Diddy song. I really can't. But I know this. I know the law, and I know his RICO charge was BS. Total. You have to have 2 or more. No co-defendants. No unindicted co-defendants. And, oh, Jesus. And also, Sex trafficking? Come on. We take our laws and we try to use them, and these prosecutors, I told you, that Southern District in New York person, terrible. Okay, what you tell me, terrible.
Understand the question. Yeah, I don't.
Man, I get a
there
little bit
were
upset about
aspects
this.
of this trial where we
Publicity
didn't-
by
certain
government.
names were
Yeah,
not
probably
used.
right.
I don't know. I don't know how you.
Listen, I
interpret
do
that.
love
I don't know where he's going with that.
Listen.
I mean, I guess it connects.
We do have a great system of government. The 3 branches of government. I'm a history junkie. So if you want to understand it, you know, the branch, the executive branch, the judicial branch, and the legislative branch, which is Congress and Senate, and the judges, and then the executive, which is the president and his whole, what he runs. Guys, it's a great setup. Always things pop off and go work. That's why it takes so long to change something. And it should. They have to make sure it's right. It is a media circus, K-Tex. I don't know what song. Give me your months, 42 months. Now, when I say months, I mean the months incarcerated, not counting the 3 years paper. Because they'll put that. Like, I had 144 months and 3 years paper.
What will some risks be with Diddy being around other inmates due to the severity of the
Wow,
crimes?
B,
Assuming he
that's
is
a great,
sentenced to prison, what will be
I
some of
mean,
the
I understand
security
it well, 60 months. My
Well,
point
the
is
Diddy's of the
24
world
on
could be
paper,
marks.
24 months on
They could
paper,
be
2
people
years.
That, you
600
get points for doing things. Too,
community
right?
service, you don't see that much in the
and
feds.
so therefore, you really have to take some precautions on some.
They might
level,
do a major fine because of him, but you don't see that.
analyze potential threats.
Love the show, Larry.
Make sure he's in.
Listen, you got to give me
now,
what B
depending
did.
on what level?
You got to give me how much
If he's
paper,
in
but it's a
lower
different thing.
security
So it's
place,
going to
it
be
might one
60
thing.
months
If
with
he's in a
3
higher
years
security
paper.
place,
I'm
you know,
saying
there will be another thing. So there would
60
be,
months,
and
3
in
years
that
paper.
way,
He
there
said
may be
2.
some precedent in that they compare what they
Fine, I'm not going to put that on this, but somebody's going to win a
that
whole
were,
package.
Considered celebrities and things like that. What
am I
places do
drinking?
you normally send them
Glenn
to?
Levitt.
What level of security do you still? How married are you to the level of security based on the crime committed and convicted
600
of,
months.
and versus how do you deviate from that, if at all? And so,
How much is cost versus defense? Oh my
this
God.
time, this way, you have a little bit.
That's
more
why a lot of
because
people would have been
famous
convicted.
People do,
That is why a lot of people would have been
is
convicted.
they will
people.
take precautions.
Because right now, Diddy, let me tell you something. Diddy had us pay, I'm telling you, over $1 million. Well over $1 million. How long?
Sit down in 5. Then Miss Slavic and Mr. Combs will have the last word. Okay, so we are getting to the end of this. Sierra, we've been talking all day about what
36,
Sean Combs will
66
say, what
months.
he needs
Give me
to
your months
say.
on paper.
Will it be consistent with the letter that he wrote to the judge? As somebody who's
I think he
followed
will
this
be
case from
considered
the
a
very
sex offender.
beginning,
That's up to the judge, though.
what are you going to be on the lookout for? when
Stop
Sean
it with
Combs
life,
speaks?
Giuseppe.
I think it will probably
he
be
did,
relatively
Can be.
consistent with
Pretty
what
ballsy.
we read in the letter, right? I mean,
Let me
Diddy
hear
had
Sierra.
much time while he's been in MDC Brooklyn to come forth and put together kind of his thoughts about what he feels, how he's changed, how he's been reformed, and what he will do, how he will not reoffend, etc. But I do feel like there's something extra in the courtroom. There's something different besides just, writing with a pen and paper about how you're feeling versus actually having to speak publicly in front of people and talk about something. Once again, it's essentially his life on the line here when we're talking about his young daughter, Love. She's a toddler. He wants to see his daughter, grow up, and not to mention even the adult children. They're in a very important time in their lives. Any father, I assume, would want to be out with his children, not behind bars. So to
48
him,
months on
this is
paper,
of the
Kara? Wow.
utmost importance,
You don't
not
see
to
that.
mention
You can't
he's
see
already
5
spent
years.
more than a year behind bars at MDC Brooklyn. And this is a common theme we've talked about throughout our entire live stream today. It's not a great place to be, right? We've heard a lot of pretty negative things about it. Of course he wants to leave, especially after he's accustomed to the lavish mansions in Miami and in LA. And,
Sierra, I have a
familiar
feeling
with
you've
New
been in
York.
those
All
mansions.
of those things Diddy
Did
wants
you go to the
be out
party?
for. However, back to my point about the heightened, sensitivity.
They willingly
the
came. They
feeling in
willingly.
the courtroom. I think this is really Diddy's moment. He sat through so many hours of the trial where he just kind of had to be very stoic. Of course, he reacted to some things. However,
135
he
months,
didn't
wow.
get up there and speak. He didn't testify. We know that Diddy, prior to all of this, liked to speak his mind, liked to set the record straight, so to speak. And now this is his one chance after waiting.
You know, Sean, that's a great question. What's my thought on those catch a predator guys? I hate those predators, but those guys are really doing a fine line, because if the guy is innocent, if the guy is, you know, and there are places innocent, something happened, maybe his uncle just came in. I don't know the real, but let law enforcement do that where they got it, because they're looking for the conviction, so they have to do certain things. But once Diddy speaks, after that, he's going to get that sentence. Boy, it's going to be a rush. It's going to be crazy. What a birthday. You know what? On my birthday in 1994, O.J. Simpson case came out, if you guys remember that. And I remember I was at a Boondoggers in Boynton Beach, Florida. Wow. This is in 90-something. Maybe 94, I'm thinking. Let's see how my brain is. I'm liking all you guys putting up this stuff. So let's see what happens here.
That America is the country of a comeback, and there's no.
He should come all back.
Meanwhile, back at the ranch, I don't know that Cassie ever gets over what happened. Maybe she gets through it. Maybe the victims get through it. But
they're making Cassie out to be this big victim. That case was way before this case. She took $30 million. $30 million or something. And that's a whole nother topic. If it's buying, you said whatever. But listen to me, what he did on that tape was terrible. I don't believe in that, guys. I do not hit women. I do not hit people of elderly. I do not do that. That's not right. But in this case, that shouldn't be even in there, because we don't know the particulars of the case. Meaning, maybe she robbed $1 million watch. Maybe she, I don't know.
Well, I think the
whatever.
Better way to I think you're totally right, Larry, but the better way to put it is like, that is not part of this case. It doesn't matter.
Well, it is, because they put it up as a kid, and they let her testify, because she's part of the
But
witness.
isn't that a point you should talk about? That's wild.
Well, I think it's wild. Austin, thank you for 5. Thank you for 5, buddy. I appreciate that. I'm curious to know how will Tyler Robinson be treated when he goes to prison. I have to look that one up. Somebody else asked me that.
So I guess that's like, maybe it's wrong, but if you now, like, mollywop me and your towel doesn't fall off, you give me the beats, is it okay for them now to go back to those old people you tied up 20 years ago?
Well, no.
Testify?
First of all, you can't, Nick, because there's statute of limitations involved.
Okay, but other than that, like...
Listen, they're doing past judgment. Everybody's past comes up. That's just nature. That's why they do a PSI.
You said that wasn't normal.
No, I didn't say that. I said we don't know the particulars. Now, they're showing it, but they don't know the particulars. When I say particulars of the case, why did he do that? Nobody's ever said why Diddy did that. Why
it
did
doesn't really matter.
Well, it does.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it's called a mitigating circumstance.
It wasn't self-defense. If someone stole a Rolex from you, you don't have the right to now stomp their
I
Rolex.
didn't say he was right, but what would you do? What would I do?
It doesn't. No, we are talking about right and wrong. We are guilty and not guilty. He was guilty. I don't know. He paid
Yes,
it off.
if Trump pardons him, done. End of story. It's a federal case, federal everything. The president can do that. I get your point, Nick, but I don't listen. Past conduct always comes up in your PSI and PSR, PSR, same exact thing. So I do understand that, guys. But
Can I have a question?
Sure.
So what is that now about?
Thank you, the hardcore casual.
What does that have to tie into double jeopardy?
No, there's no.
No, I know, but that's.
Let me explain double jeopardy so everybody knows.
I'm just a layman.
I know, Nick. Yeah. Let me explain it. Double jeopardy, everybody, means the only way double jeopardy comes into play is when you get on a stand. They swore the jury in. All the jury is picked. They say, boom. Then double jeopardy comes in. Like OJ. If OJ beat that case like he did, he could come out of that courtroom and say, yeah, I did it. Does not matter. That's double jeopardy. Now, we got to be careful because the feds and state can both prosecute you. People don't understand that. They usually don't, Like my cases were in multiple states. So they put them all what they call a Rule 20 in the federal law. And that Rule 20 is what
competent representation, or
that
maybe
whole
the
Rule
type of
20 makes
representation
everything
that
come
they
to
really
one
want
place.
to speak for them.
Now,
They
the
may
states
not
could
be
pick
able
that up.
to, kind of
But
get
they
the public
usually don't because they
behind
know you're
them
going
to get that
away.
support.
And usually
We see that
the
with
sentence
Diddy,
is
we
going to
see
what
that
they
with
call
other,
run concurrent. And it's just a waste of
high-profile
money.
cases, and so
Thank you guys for the
and
birthday
sometimes
wishes and all the
judges
money.
and lawyers
Gaff
get
the
away with
TV,
certain
thank
things
you
when
very
there
much.
isn't that microscope
Can
on
be,
them.
thanks again.
So in a certain
Keep doing
way,
up thing. Larry,
celebrities
returning
are watched
and tuning in for
more
years. Happy
when these
birthday.
things
Thank you
happen, and
guys. I really
therefore,
appreciate that.
judges and attorneys
There's
are held
another
to the
question.
highest
I know I'm
level
wrong, but
of our law. But in other
what's the
ways,
point of
sometimes
me
we
now
see
paying
that
her
celebrities are
$30
looked
million
upon to be
and then
made an example of.
to
So
settle, and then now
it's
she can just
potentially
come
a
back
wash
and
in the
bring it
end,
up again
but
on
the biggest thing that you get out of
She
this
can't
type
do
of
anything-
situation
Seems
is
like
that
a
the
waste
public
of
starts to
$30
learn
No,
a lot
no,
about the
no.
system.
When you paid her
And
30
a lot
million,
about
you didn't want to go
these
to trial.
guys,
You don't want things
how
to be
many-
aired.
Hopefully, ever became an expert
Right?
at sex
She
trafficking.
still didn't.
Back
She's
in the
not
day.
understand. She
Okay,
can't bring up that
we're gonna take a
case.
quick break. So as Sean
what
Combs'
they
defense
are.
attorney, Mark
Showing-
McNiffalo, was
Yeah, that's
asking
the
for
media.
a
That's the media.
14-month sentence. They're saying we're
So then,
asking
yeah,
for a
that's
lot,
another big question.
highlighting.
Oh,
it
the
says
media
Sean
runs
Combs
the-
has
this
genuine
stuff too
So
much.
you're
psychological
saying she's getting on
challenges
stand, but she's not allowed to
that
talk
he
about her
suffers
getting
from
beat. She's
PTSD.
allowed
No,
to-
no, no,
asking
no.
for leniency.
No.
Another lawyer
That
is going
case had to do with this
Sean
case.
Combs is going to speak.
Yeah, that's my whole
Hopefully,
question.
we
Yeah,
get to
so
that
let's not talk
sentence.
about her getting.
Let's
She
take
already
a
got
quick
her 30
break.
million.
We will
Yep.
be right
She's on
back with
stand
our
now
live
to be like,
coverage.
oh, I didn't want to be peed on, right?
I don't know the case. I'm not going to say something
Oh, you do know
sensationalized.
it. This is
I
the
don't
case.
know is that what she's saying, that I
This
want to
is
be.
just a question I have.
Right, I know,
Not
but
an argument.
but
This is a great
Nick,
question.
I just don't know if that's what she said. So I'm not going to sensationalize being peed on. Some people like that. So what? Good for them. You know, I have nothing. Listen, if you're a consenting adult, two consenting adults do whatever you want. I could care less. Thank you, Matthew, for subscribing. Hey guys, you know, if you're here and you haven't subscribed, I'd appreciate it. Really, hit that like button. It does help. I don't say it too much. I should. How much sentencing power does the judge have? Total, Sean. Total. He can go outside the guideline, below the guidelines, above the guidelines. They usually don't, but they can, and they are a federal judge. Let me explain the difference between a federal judge and a state judge. The only way to remove a federal judge from the bench is he has to be impeached by Congress. You know what I just said? Just like the president has to be impeached by Congress. That means Congress has to indict him, the Senate holds the trial, and the judge gets the boot. The last one I know that happened to is Al C. Hastings. He was a Miami federal judge. He ended up becoming a U.S. Congressman. But I'm not, that's just the way it is. I agree, say he did not do anything wrong. I wish he would get time served. I don't think it's going to happen. Sadly, there's too much sensationalism in this case. This case wouldn't, if I did this case, which I did, never got caught doing it. If I did this case, if this was Larry Lawton or you, nobody would hear. They wouldn't even ask for time in prison. No less 135 months? Are they off their rockers? This is what's wrong with the government. They get like what pisses you off? It's like they're above the law. Who are they? 135. Let's ruin a guy's life. I mean, ruin a guy's life. What did he do? He did what every business executive, and if you're a business executive watching this, if you're somebody famous or you got money, you did this, and you know it. Jeez, I'm getting mad. Time served. I don't think he's going to. Federal judges have sentencing power on a federal level. Enough said. They are not played. Exactly right. They are, and first of all, they have level anything. Did you know a federal judge can release any inmate they want? It doesn't happen. They don't know the case, but they can. People have no idea how powerful. You want to piss someone off? Listen to me. You want to tell a cop, go fuck himself? Go ahead. You want to tell the prosecutor? You can do that. Judges, even a state judge, put you in jail. Federal judge, forget it. Let me tell you a quick story about having a federal judge. I was in the courtroom. I was waiting on, we were doing what they call status conference in the courtroom. Well, this kid was getting sentenced. So we all sit in the jury boxes. That's where the inmates sit when they come up next. What happens? This kid was in the cage in the back talking to us. This is all bullshit. I'm going to tell him what I believe and all this. He was facing 12 to 18 months. I mean, nothing. I'd sit on a toilet in prison for that. He gets into the courtroom. We're sitting there, and he says to the judge, you know, always you have an opportunity to speak. That's why Diddy's speaking. So what does he do? He goes, Your Honor, this is crap. This is bullshit. This is not what America's about. He goes, and the judge just gave, you done? No, I'm not. These guys are blah, blah, blah. Judge gave him 10 years, 120. I was there. I watched it. 120 months. You know what happened then? He was under 25. So since he was under 25, he went to a maximum security prison. He was going to go to a camp. He was going to be a nothing, a walkout. It was amazing. He won his appeal, but it took him 36 months to win the appeal. So he did double the time he would have did if he would have just shut his mouth. But what did he do? He pissed off a judge. And now listen, the judge knows he's going to get overturned. He don't give a shit unless he's looking to be a higher judge, like a appellate judge or even Supreme Court judge. Now, what happened there was you pissed off that judge, and you said whatever you said. Judge was going to give him regular sentence. And what did he do? 120 months. He sent him to a penitentiary, because that's what they do in the BOP, Bureau of Prisons. Did not come. Now, this is a kid. This kid was a kid who he was not built for a penitentiary. I don't know what happened to him. But I know he did win his appeal. Crazy, right? Yes, time. Let me tell you, time should be for rehabilitation purpose. Listen, putting a person in prison is supposed to protect society. Yes, there's a part in our own codes that talk about punishment. They don't think rehabilitation in the United States like they do in Norway or Sweden or Germany. They have prison systems. I'm going to do more on prisons. Oh man, I get so psyched on this. I am so excited about this. I really am, guys. You have no idea how excited I am. What's going to happen? People ask, this is one of my Oliva lighters. Oliva, great company, man. Great company. They're my partner. What? Thank you for the CF5. What?
2 people called him a rapist. So can we just really quick, just like, there wasn't anything in this entire thing that said anyone was raped, right?
What is thraped?
Propped, you know.
I don't know what thrape.
Sexed against their.
Oh, you mean you just can't say the word?
Nowhere in the case, right? Yeah.
No, well, no, yes, there was, but they're all proved not right.
Can we talk about where was that in?
It was found not guilty. That was in the sex trafficking.
I'm just asking
Yeah, that was in the sex trafficking, Nick. That's a good. He's not. He was not charged. He was not convicted. He was not done with anything with minors or underage people. I remember when it was coming out, everybody, and I'm talking influencers now, and I'm going to have some influencers on my show, and we're going to talk about it, and I'm going to call them out. They know who I am. They know me. They're good friends, some of them. And I'm going to talk about that because they wanted to hang him from the yardarm. Stop the bullshit. We all know what happens. And that was BS. And I called it out in the beginning. In fact, myself and Brad Cohen, best criminal defense, Glenn Rodderman's great, who's down South Florida. Of course, there's a few other great ones. Obviously, Brad Cohen right now, if I got arrested right now for anything, serious, I have a great attorney. And Jason Downs, unbelievable. Got balls. He don't care. Great attorney. Love him. And I trust him. Number one, he's not scared to fight. You got attorneys who are scared to fight when it comes down to it. And I mean that. Brad Cohen, same exact way. Smart. Knows how to do it. And do it. It's a what?
He's a gangster.
He is a gangster. I love Brad. My favorite cigar, Peter? Come on. See that? I don't know if I can see that. Yep, Crocodile. Mine. My cigar. You're right, Kara. Stranger Things that Puffy is basically being sentenced for paying to be a cock. Yeah, that is true. He was a voyeur, a cock, whatever. That's what it is, I guess. And listen, we all have our shit, guys. Everyone out there that's on this freaking feed, everybody's in this chat has their freak. Well, I don't know what it is, and I don't care as long as it's not against the kid.
So again, Larry,
and long as it's consenting adults. Other than that, I don't care what you do.
So again, again, ragdolling his girlfriend has nothing to do with this sex trafficking.
Well, yes, I'm not going to keep overdoing that. But they know that.
People keep
I'm reading, Nick.
I'm not saying you are. Larry.
You're right, Rots. He ragdolled it. But that again, look what I did when I was younger. Tortured a person. Should I be now held accountable for that now? I was held accountable already. Maybe not that, but you know what I mean.
What was it on video? Do you think that has anything like?
100% video has hurt and helped. I love video because it exposes cops, and I'm going to be doing some of those videos as well. And listen, they don't lie.
Here's a good question, and they said I need to talk into the mic. So, what do you think would be different with your case if like all that shit was caught on Ring camera, like you torturing someone or tying people up? How do you think that would have changed your case?
I don't think it would have.
You don't think so?
Tying people up, they know all about that. Every one of them, they know about that. Every case of mine that I tie someone up, they knew about
Yeah,
it.
but you always that's here like.
It's not hearsay. That's proven.
Okay. So
In my case. Now, as far as torturing anybody,
I'm basically saying is like, what if you were caught on camera doing all this shit and then had to do your trial or your sentencing?
if what, Nick?
If you were caught on camera doing all the things that you were doing, like putting an iron to
Go ahead,
someone,
go ahead.
snapping someone's arm, like tying people up.
All in my book, guys.
If you were
Gangster
caught-
Redemption.
If you were caught on like Ring cameras doing all this shit, it would have had to definitely drastically impact your trial. And how do you think it would?
I didn't go to trial. I beat my case in the preliminaries. So
Word, sorry, yeah.
that's number one. If they took me to trial, they would have had to prove so much. Now, video back then, again, even today, how do you know it's true or not? I think video is hard. I think with experts, I don't know. I'm not an expert on videos. I'm not an expert on tech. I'm an expert on jails. I'm an expert on crime. I'm an expert on robberies and that kind of stuff. I'm not proud of that, guys. I really am not. But that's why I'm more always, I won't even say lenient. Listen, there's people who've got arrested. Nick will say, wow, you really want that on them? Or, you know, like, listen, there's certain crimes that I don't agree with. If anybody touched my mother at 92 years old, 93 years old coming up, you don't think, come on, how do you pick on, I never did that.
That's more of a crime you don't want someone getting arrested for. You know?
No, I'm arrested.
Yeah, you'd rather do, yeah. I wouldn't want someone going to jail over that. I'd rather, yeah.
Yes, Wayne, the Quick and Diamond site is down right now. It's coming back up. We had a whole bunch of stuff we're going through. Yes, 10 hours would be super. I agree. I think you meant 10 years. I think you did, but 10 hours even. I just don't believe in they should have. You got to remember, he's only convicted of transporting. Exactly. I've been saying that all my. Everybody thinks I'm pro Diddy. I am not pro Diddy or pro anybody. How's that? I really am not, guys. That's not my game. It's just not my game. I am not. Listen. We don't know what happened in that courtroom. Only the people in the jury know everything. That's period. And the judge. That's why they're there. We have to trust in our system. Could the video be fake? Please explain about that. Right, Mika? I mean, I don't know enough about tech, but anything can be faked. He didn't say it is. He settled for $30 million. Kind of hard to say you didn't do it if you're given $30 million just so it don't go to trial. I think he's fighting that producer case, which he is, which that's a civil case, who wanted money, and he's the one who opened the Pandora's box about the videos at people's house, you know, at his houses with celebrities and politicians compromised. 100%. 100%.
Can I answer on that fake video thing? There's entire like teams of, you know, AI lawyers and
listen,
you can totally tell if something was altered.
I don't know. Maybe someday we won't. You know?
Maybe someday, but right now we can't.
I listen. I have to trust somebody somewhere along the line. But what's going to happen with AI? I don't know. We all don't know. They're gonna go live right from where they are. That's why all the mics are set up, guys. In this feed right here, you know, you can see this feed. That feed right there. You see the? Oh, let me move myself. Now, if you go here, guys, I want to just show you something.
Oh.
You see it? You see it? There you go, guys. There's mics set up, so that's what's gonna happen. So just understand that.
So this isn't going to be like the Melly trial. They're doing that now, and they're going to come out and tell us what happened.
No, we're past that. They're just telling us the sentence. This is a sentencing hearing, actually. It's not a court. It's a sentencing hearing. Now, what happens at a sentencing hearing? The case is done already. You are convicted by a jury of your peers. Again, the reason I believe he's going to get 60 months and not time served, if he was going to get time served, I think the judge would have let him out on bond after he was acquitted of racketeering and sex trafficking, knowing it's really bullshit. I wouldn't be surprised if the judge did that. I really wouldn't. Now, since that happened, that's what leans me more towards saying, you know what, he's going to give him some time that he stays in prison. But then again, here's another little quagmire, I call it. Diddy was also allowed by the judge to wear civilian clothes to his sentencing, which says to me, what are you trying to say? You gonna let me out? I don't know. This is a great case.
I thought you were allowed to.
No, not on a sentencing hearing. On a trial, you have to. Well, you don't have to, but you better.
So yeah, that's what you always talk about how like being perceived in orange will fuck a jury up.
Sure, absolutely.
So you just said it's lucky he's allowed to wear citizen
This is a
clothes.
sentencing hearing. This is nothing. The case is over. You're not dealing with the
I guess
civilians.
that's my main question. You know how me and you like watch Melly's lawyer and
That
the
Melly's
judge go
case
back and
is
forth?
not even in trial yet. It's at trial twice. He had hung juries. Let's not get into that, Nick, right now.
No, my question is, are we not going to see anything on the inside of the courtroom today?
No.
That was my question, because we haven't at all for this Diddy stuff.
No, because this is federal court. That's state court.
Okay.
And
That's
the
question.
judge
Yeah.
can let you do that,
Oh, okay.
but you know he can also not let you do
I
that.
got you. Yeah, that makes sense.
Chris O's a racketeering, right? Exactly. Where's the racketeering case? I don't get it. Subconscious bias. Everyone knows already. Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, yes for now, but I don't know what that means. I'm waiting as you are, guys. We are waiting on the big Diddy case. This is big. This means so much. You know, it is my birthday today. I was going to go out earlier after lunch because I thought it would be earlier. This is one of the longest sentencing hearings I've ever seen. Obviously, it's P. Diddy, money, people, supposable victims. I love that. Man, so, you know, if you're a victim, I really feel for you. And I mean that. I fell for my victims and I did stuff. But this has now gotten to the point where it's almost bullshit. Right, no cams in federal. It can, though, Carl. They can do that. He should have got offered now. What do you mean in the 1970s? Obviously, there wouldn't be footage of him doing what he did to his girl, and I think that hurt him a lot. I'm pissed that they even allowed to show it. I don't know if that was shown to this jury. That's a good question. I'll have to look that up. Diddy will have Diddy will have no problems in prison. I'm gonna do that one because I'll find out what kind of prison he's gonna go to and stuff like that.
Good.
Even the
That's a
prison,
really good one.
but he's not gonna have a problem in prison. None at all. Listen, he's gonna have one problem because he's got money and he's a target. Period. But I don't think he's gonna go to a high enough level prison. He's not gonna go to a penitentiary like where I was. He's not gonna even go to a medium. I think he's gonna go to a low facility, maybe even a camp. And come on, guys, why should he go to a penitentiary where I went? I was convicted of violent crimes, robbing people, tying them up, doing all the bad things, man, brandishing guns, whatever. Diddy wasn't. Diddy's convicted of Diddy was convicted of taking a prostitute across state lines. Here we go. Let me see what goes on, guys. Let's just jump on this.
And welcome back to Law and Crime, everybody. Our live coverage of the Sean Diddy Combs sentencing. I'm Jesse Weber. Thank you for joining us on our continued coverage of this. We are in hour 7 maybe now.
Wow.
We are hopefully coming to the end of this. We are waiting
Hour
any minute
7.
now for Sean
I came on at
Combs
10
to
for
deliver
11 for a
his
few hours,
statement
and now
to the court. We already know he
3,
provided a letter
11
in
to 1
advance of this.
something.
This is in advance of him officially being sentenced on 2 counts of transportation. To
yes,
engage
it is
in
85%.
prostitution. It will all be up to
It's
Judge Arun
85%
Subramanian
of time,
on which
and you
way he
lose
will
that.
sentence
So easy
Sean
to lose
Combs.
it.
He
I lost
indicated
it.
earlier that he doesn't see a reason to deviate from the 5 to 7 years, that range of prison, but he's also
No,
heard a lot
he's too well
today
known.
from attorneys.
It's not a red
from
flag with the
Sean
OGs.
Combs' family.
Because
and I will
they
note
know the case,
that
everything
right
else.
before we're about to hear from Sean Combs, and by the way, I said
No,
that
he's not
so
gonna be
no
the pod
cameras
boss
allowed in
either.
that
He's gonna-
courtroom,
he's
but
gonna
we'll bring it
pay.
to you live.
That I'll tell you.
Prosecutor Christy
Well,
Slavic made the
maybe
point that
medium
only
chill.
one
I
of the
don't think
5
so.
defense attorneys who spoke today mentioned Combs' alleged
Yes,
victims.
me too,
in
Mika.
their
If he has I'm a
presentation.
fall out of this chair right here.
That it was all about Sean Combs and
I want to
his
see if anybody's right. I'm
bond
going to go
should be
through this
released,
chat,
that he
guys.
suffered enough,
So if
but
you
not
want to
mentioning
get a
the
pack of
victims,
cigar,
and I wonder if that's gonna
starter
be a
pack and
problem.
a
Let me bring back
ashtray
in
and all that
Serena
kind of
Townsend.
stuff.
Let me bring back in
If you're
Joe
18.
Richardson. Let me bring back in
21.
Sierra
Yeah, 21.
Gillespie. Sierra, I'll start with you. That is interesting, right? I mean,
Was
there
Diddy
has been a lack
involved?
of talking
I
about
have
Jane.
no
There has been a
idea.
lack of talking about Cassie Ventura. Obviously, the defense has particular positions about them throughout the course of this case, throughout the course of litigation leading into the sentencing. But that is a point.
Listen, when you got some of these things that get blocked, some of them are from our mods, but some are from YouTube.
Oh, I'm sorry.
so-
I wanted to make sure it was Sierra, not Serena. So I
It's
was going to
Sierra?
say Serena was starting to talk, but that was in fact for Sierra.
Sierra and
will
I
go
think,
ahead
have to
and
have a
answer
drink
that
and talk
question
about this
now.
case.
I mean, talking about Cassie, talking about Jane, I mean, these are
He
very
was.
vital, right?
Red cat,
Because
blue hat.
they're a
Diddy
huge
was putting
part
on
of
a
the
concert for
trial,
himself.
and I
Listen,
think that
nothing
Judge
illegal.
Arun Subramanian, of course, has to consider these things. I mean, he said it early on today. It was a question mark. The defense was saying, okay, I don't even know if these people should be considered as part of it, as part of victims. But he ruled, yes, they are in fact victims. And I think, of course, it's going to be in the back of his mind the testimony that they had, going through and
G-Punk, free
recounting
Diddy.
some of the trauma that they had.
And again,
Of course, that's
everybody
something
thinks I'm
that's going
very
to be
pro-
coming up.
I'm
And
just
I do
pro
have to
the
wonder
right.
if when P. Diddy himself does finally address the court, if he's going to mention these people.
Hold on,
Because
listen.
that's the allegation
Okay,
here,
hold on.
right? Is trauma and abuse. And I wonder if he's going to say,
was reading
yeah, I did some things wrong. Here's how I learned, and here's how I'm going
I
to
would
get
be
better.
pissed
And
at it.
I
He
guess
would
I wonder
definitely
if
be
that's
buying commissary.
something that he might address.
Well, it's interesting that you say that because Serena,
They
in
were
Sean
looked into
Combs'
the
letter,
rape case,
okay,
the
to the
art
court,
case.
he said, "My sadness was my motivator. I have to admit, my downfall was rooted in my selfishness. The scene and images
wow.
of me assaulting Cassie play
Oh,
over
Karen,
and
that's
over
nice.
in my head daily.
That's another
I
one who got
literally
sentenced
lost my
wrong.
mind. I was dead wrong for putting my hands on the woman that I love.
See?
I'm sorry for that, and always will be. My domestic violence will
Yeah.
always be a heavy burden that I will have to forever carry." He said
I'm
earlier
right there.
on, "I take full responsibility and accountability for my past wrongs. I want to apologize and say how sincerely sorry I am for all the hurt and pain that I've caused others by my conduct." 2 questions for you, Serena.
54 months
A,
on
do you think that's
paper?
what he's going to
Wow.
focus on, the victims in this case? And B, does he have to be careful? Does he have to be careful saying that he did this, that he apologizes for what he did, because he might have an appeal? If he's sentenced to 10 years in prison, he's going to fight appeal. If he admits to wrongdoing, if he admits to doing this, can that jeopardize the appeal?
It's a good question. So first of all, I do think he's going to try to focus on the victims. Certainly now that the prosecutor kind of put that out there, I think even if he hadn't been prepared to do that, hearing that, he might say, look, you know, my lawyers did their thing, but the remorse that I have to give over for my victims has to come directly from me. You know, he might kind of spin it that way to make it seem
Okay,
like
Carl, what that means on paper is you get paper after prison. You have to report to a probation officer. And then they put restrictions on you, whether it's a urinalysis every month. You have to report you can't leave a certain district. In the feds, it's a district. Like I couldn't leave the middle district of Florida. And that it's a weird angle. You got to figure that out. But that's what on paper means, and it is a pain in the ass, and they can come into your house, and they can bust your chops. They can do a lot of things, and they do. They don't call it parole because you're not in prison for 30 years or 20 years and getting parole because they did away with parole in the feds. They call it probation, and it's after your sentence, not getting off early on probation. Let's see what they have to say here.
Purposes of sex work. He didn't say that. He goes, I'm sorry for domestic violence. I'm sorry for hurting people. So he can admit that without admitting technically.
His lawyers are
or
telling him
specifically
exactly
the
what he can
crimes
say now.
that he was convicted of. Joe, I just
And he
want to give
should,
everybody an
'cause-
update. Sean Combs stands at the defense table.
Ooh.
Oh, okay. One of the hardest things I've had to handle has been having to be quiet and not express how sorry I am for my actions. So this is him speaking. I don't take that lightly. I would like to apologize to Cassie Ventura and her family.
Wow.
Joe, that's the first statement we've heard
First from Diddy.
from Sean Combs.
I
in
wouldn't have
open
did
court
that,
today.
did he? Man, it took
Oh,
30
at least
million
regarding
from you.
apology.
Yeah, and you know he's it's kind of like I'm standing here going, okay, keep coming, what else, right? He's saying frankly what's going to
I
be
agree with
expected to be said,
G-Punk.
and it's
60
interesting
months
to your
and
point.
36.
He's kind of seems to be
If that happens,
apologizing,
you're gonna
like
get it
in
too.
writing
I
and
said
some-
that.
towards the things that he didn't get convicted for, but we're having this whole discussion about making sure that
No, I'm
that,
not familiar,
acquitted conduct
Thomas,
is
with
not
that.
included. So once again, you've got these,
What was the
you've
question? I
got these
think you're
different
asking that.
dynamics playing out, and it's going to be interesting to see where it goes and how believable he comes out, and can he come off like it's not about him? Can he come off like it's not him being
Diddy's not a rookie.
narcissistic? And can he come off understanding in the eyes of the judge, in the eyes of the public, why maybe he ought to get more time? And despite that, I'm asking you, Your Honor, to give me less time, and here's why. Is there an acknowledgement that you're not unreasonable for doing any of this? He's not going to give up the ghost on all that because they want to keep all their appealable issues. But how is he going to come off the way that he needs to come off to maximize his opportunity here?
Well, this is the next thing you just said. I apologize to Jane for bringing you into my mess. I would like to apologize to all the victims of domestic violence.
Good for
Remember,
him.
he hasn't been
He's
charged
doing it
with
right,
domestic
Diddy.
violence. He wasn't convicted of domestic violence. I know that the disgusting video triggered people, meaning the video of him beating Cassie Ventura. I was sick from the drugs. I needed help, but I didn't get the help. Okay, so let me break this down in real time.
I don't like that,
So
guys.
now he's apologized both to Cassie and Jane. Again, not for transporting them for sex work.
But let me tell you
for
why that's a
hurting
good
them
move.
For domestic violence. He goes, I knew better. My faith taught me better. I'm not this.
Let me tell you what's good, what he said right there, because he just said he had a drug problem, and that might qualify him for the RDAP, if he is qualified for it. I have to look that up. I'm going to get Paul Tellini on this, and we're going to talk about it.
Larger than life person. I'm just a human being. I'm trying my best. I lost my freedom and the opportunity to raise my children and be there for my mother. I lost all my businesses. Now, again, your thoughts on this, because this really is the first time he's had an opportunity substantively to make a comment.
I really
about
hope
this.
nothing happens. I hope he becomes bigger than ever.
Yeah, and I completely agree with both of you that he's being very specific about what he's apologizing for.
I said that.
And he has to. It is true. He wants to show that complete remorse without really admitting to certain things. Look, this is the opportunity and the time where a defendant who has been convicted gets on his knees and begs for mercy. Whether
I
the
didn't do
judge
that,
is already
people.
too jaded
I didn't get on my
to
knees and
really
beg for
believe
mercy.
him, which I
got
would
slammed,
not
that was it.
blame him
Judge James
for,
T.
is
Giles.
to be seen, right? It's very easy to be sorry now. It's very easy to say the things that he's saying after he's been convicted. Now, I do want to say that everybody does have the right to a trial, and I don't necessarily think that him taking the case to trial should be held against him and should be deemed
I know,
as
Greg, and I
him
disagree
not
with that.
being
It is
remorseful.
bullshit.
But on the other hand, here he is having
Yes,
tried to fight all
no,
of the
guys, I
allegations
just found
and
out
only
Nick
now,
passed away.
Making any sort of admission to any
Well, yes,
issues. So
yes, Nick.
I don't think
great
the judge
brain.
is going
Nick the
to
Greek,
be
he passed away.
very
guys.
much swayed by this newest apology.
Yeah, somebody asked me if I
just like
heard
any
from
other
Nick the Greek.
So just let everybody
believe
know.
that's his
my,
name. He's from Pennsylvania.
my,
Known in
battery's
prison for
breaking
a
up little
long
bit. I couldn't
time.
hear that
Had a
last
life
part, so we're
sentence.
gonna
My
work
friend
on
Paulie
getting this
Tellini
fixed. But
The
I do want
best,
to give
I told
everybody
you.
an update.
Got him out.
So Sean
Okay,
Combs
hold
says,
on.
I hate myself right now. I have been stripped down to nothing. I want to apologize to my 7 children. I'm so sorry. You deserve better. To my mother, I feel you taught me better. Sierra, I go to you. As somebody who's been following this case from the beginning, what are you taking away?
I got to go
from
to
what
lunch
he's
with
saying?
Sierra and talk about the case.
I mean, this is a day of reckoning for Sean P. Diddy Combs, and something that we were hypothesizing before we finally were hearing the words that he was saying was that
He
may, in
couldn't
fact,
say anything
point
before
out the
this,
victims
guys.
in this case and apologize. I mean, I believe we talked about that just minutes ago, and here he is doing just that. My question in all of this, I will be very interested to see what Elizabeth Milner says when she comes out, because right now she is in the courthouse, so she is there watching P. Diddy as he's saying these immortal words. I want to know his emotion.
Mika, I agree,
in
but
all
I-
of it.
I
mean,
don't think
you
he
can
really
read the
did
words.
anything
He's
wrong. I
saying,
really
I'm sorry
don't.
to Cassie, I'm sorry to Jane, I'm sorry to my children and
Yes,
my
the
mother.
Cassie
you
thing,
taught me better. I
just
threw
hitting her
everything
was
away.
wrong,
I ruined
obviously.
everything. But
I don't
what is
believe in
the
hitting a
emotion
woman or
there?
anybody
Is it just
weaker than you.
words? Is he completely
Can't hit you
stone
back.
cold face? Or is he crying? Is he upset? And I think all of these things are something that Judge Arun Submaranian will be clocking, because I mean, that's really what it is. Is he truly sorry? Is he truly remorseful
Stop it,
for
Sierra. Who
everything
cares?
that he's done?
Bless
I mean,
me.
he's now been convicted of a crime here, the transportation to engage in prostitution, which, to your point, Jesse, we haven't heard an apology for all of that. We've heard an apology for the
'Cause he
domestic
didn't do it.
violence side of things. And I mean, I will just guess that Diddy might go on for a bit longer, as it is his first time really to address all of these accounts. But I want to know the emotion behind all of it.
That's true, Lux.
It's a
sadly.
great point, and that's obviously something.
And what he's talking about
that,
is getting on probation,
Elizabeth
never getting
Milner
off.
would know, because she's inside there. She can hear it for herself. But if we're clocking this, if we're clocking that he's not directly addressing the federal crimes that he was convicted of,
Way to go, Kara.
You know Judge Subramanian's going to say it too. He says, I let down my community. I wanted to show we could take care of our own problems. I got lost. I'm not this bad person. I'm sorry to my community. I let you all down. People can change. I know I've changed. There is a part about this, Joe, and he goes, sometimes you have to go through life experiences. These are not excuses. I can't change the past, but I can change the future.
No, he gets-
I beg your honor for mercy to be a father again, to
Depends
be a
on
son
what the
again, a
sentence
leader
is.
in my community again, to get the help I need. Now, Joe, look, we're criticizing parts of this from a legal point of view, from a human point of view. Could the judge be persuaded that this is a guy who's really learned his lesson?
I agree with you,
That could be
Wayne.
a force of good, that he wasn't convicted of racketeering and sex trafficking, that while transportation to engage in prostitution is a serious crime, and there were elements of violence and drugs that were a part of it, and this happened many times, that perhaps he should not have to spend a significant portion
I
of his
hope he
life
gets
now in
off.
prison.
Here's what I say: at the risk of coming off like I'm banging on Diddy, and this is not a
Yeah, he's banging on Diddy. I'm
uh,
supporting.
you know, Diddy Day kind of thing for me.
No.
But if
you're
he's
talking
learned his
about the
lesson
guy.
in 14 months, he'll learn it better in 2 or 3 years.
No, he won't, buddy.
And so what
Yeah.
that means is
Yeah.
there's got to be another reason over and above him learning his lesson. That's part of it. But over and above him learning his lesson,
You know, I have to shake my head.
then
These
later,
guys are
and
making
that
him out to
could
be
the force of good that he could be.
Pissed
I don't
me
want to
off.
minimize that. I don't want to minimize the fact that he's, you know, he's got ingenuity. He's creative. He has a huge platform. Everybody's going to be watching the things that he does next, and so that would have to be
Can you
more
make
of
music
the
in prison?
reason
Listen, you can
to
make
let
music in
him
yourself
get out
if you can now.
earlier, because
If it's
again,
the words of what
he knows
he's not
how
going to have a
succeed.
studio.
And in all of
guys.
these areas where he says because of he lost his
Sure.
father and it made him more
There are
likely
several artists
to
that
you know, or
drop
you know,
albums or
to
do
be a
verses in
domestic
prison.
abuser
Sure,
or
but
whatever
not-
Jack's
that
done
was.
multiple-
But not
He overcame the
actual.
odds in so many
They
other
They
ways.
write it.
So
they
that
write
know,
it.
they
doesn't
go on the
fly
prison
either.
phone,
Right.
So
and
it's
then they-
really gotta be his ability to do something maybe that almost nobody else could do coming from this situation. So I'm not going to minimize the power of that and how the judge may evaluate that.
You know,
but it's
a lot
going to
of-
have to be that even more.
A lot of the people who talk about the sex and stuff, that's between 2 adults or 3 adults, whatever it is. It's not about, the case is not about that. So get that out of
Willing
your
to
head.
comply with any conditions. Me sharing my story is not a scheme to get less time. This story is tragic. If Your Honor gives me a chance to share my story, this has a positive impact. Thank you to the jury. Your Honor gave me the confidence in the jury to believe that I did not have to testify. They sacrificed 8 weeks. I thank them. I thank them for not guilty.
Good for him.
Serena,
They got
back to you.
good reporting.
Your thoughts on this?
On that.
Well, here's the thing. Sean Diddy Combs always had a platform to tell his story. He didn't need to be convicted of heinous crimes to be able to inspire
This lady's
people
wrong because
and use his
you're told by
power
your
for
lawyer,
good.
shut up,
I
and
feel
I'm
it's
telling
such
all
a
you to shut
shame
up.
that somebody who did come from such a difficult and broken background and was able to pursue his dreams and get there, then turned around and used it to manipulate people, to harm people, people who are very vulnerable to him.
She's
And
talking
he used
about
his
him as
power
he's
for
convicted
bad.
of those things.
Maybe he did some good things. Maybe his children love him. That's true. But there are many, many convicted
I'd like to know what
felons
these women do in
with
their own
children
bedroom with their
who
husband or
were
boyfriends
innocent
or
and are always
neighbors
going
or
to be
whatever.
innocent, waiting for their fathers or mothers to come home. He's not unique in that situation. What made Sean Combs unique is that he grew out of a terrible situation, and instead of using that to better his community
If
and
this
better
guy
the people
wasn't who
around
he
him,
is, he'd
he
be
used
off.
them
This is a
and
joke.
ended up doing these heinous
This is
crimes
what really
towards
worries
the
me
women
about
in
the
his
United
life.
States.
So
It really does.
I don't know that it
That and the
rings so
conspiracy law.
favorably to a judge that he's now telling his story in this way.
Well, he might have been listening to us because, Sierra, you know what he just said? I take full responsibility for my Mann Act convictions. They want you to make an example of me. I want you to think about making an example of what a person can do
Hey, Nick,
if they get
do
another
me a favor, bud?
chance.
Give me
Consider the
ice.
beautiful children
And the
who
bottle.
spoke for me. Again, I've heard, sometimes we have both heard statements from defendants when they're sentenced. Sometimes it really have no impact. Sometimes they're saying the jury got it.
Guys, everybody out there, what's the odds of one of these 4 people that you're watching on TV right now been in threesomes and did that stuff? Probably pretty good.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm curious from your perspective, does this one stand out to you, Sierra?
I
Is it
don't care
different?
who I'm talking to.
I think this does stand out. I mean, just minutes ago, we were saying, okay, we haven't heard about the Mann Act. We haven't heard about the transportation to engage in prostitution. And we said Judge Arun Subramanian would be clocking this. So it seems as though this may be a strategic move on the path of P. Diddy to mention this and to say, right out
Very
of the
true,
gate, hey,
right.
I'm sorry to Cassie, Jane, etc., all the people that he hurt and how. Then he talked about his
We're gonna
family,
hear the verdict
and then
in the
now
next
he's talking
15,
about
20
his
minutes.
conviction here.
Not
And
even.
I do have to wonder if perhaps he went through and, talked it through with his defense attorneys. Hey, here's what I'm thinking of saying. What do you think I should include? What do you think I should,
John, it doesn't matter who
exclude?
is-
all of
who is,
those sort
liking
of
who.
things. I think it's interesting that
We're
he
gonna hear this
says
verdict.
this isn't any sort of scheme here in order for me to get less time. Make an example out of me in the way that I can go on and share my story. And this kind of goes to what Serena was saying. P. Diddy was already a public figure. He didn't have to be convicted of a crime like this in order to share his story. I mean, we've seen a lot of other celebrities who have gone through addiction or things like that who haven't been convicted and then show us a positive change as a role model. So I think it's interesting.
I don't
but
like that
I do
word,
think it's
guys,
strategic.
role
He brought
model.
up the Mann Act.
Okay, Serena, what did you say to me before? You go, if he might change his opinion, he might take a break. Mm-hmm. Judge says, let's take 5 minutes.
Oh!
5 minutes.
The judge says take 5 minutes. You know why?
Right.
The judge is coming
that
back
mean?
and giving a
What does
sentence,
that mean?
guys.
Is he
Case
change-
law can.
Is he changing
Does
his
it change?
sentence?
Oh man, 5 minutes is that perfect amount of time to show that you're taking it seriously, but not yet quite enough time to really change the words that you were planning on saying. I don't think that he's going to change what he intended to say when he first started today's session.
Here, Nick.
I think he obviously wants to give everybody a break. He wants the optics of showing
No,
that
leave
he
that
is
here, please.
taking everything in that came out today. But it doesn't feel to me like 5 minutes is enough to really change what he was planning on saying, in my opinion.
Is that because, and if you agree, Joe, is that because what Sean
Thanks,
Combs
Donald
said
Trump.
was
Big
very
fan.
similar to what he wrote
he
in the
said.
letter? It doesn't change the narrative in any way. It may be different to hear it directly from Sean Combs himself. There were potential variations. Taking full responsibility.
He's not
for the Mann
rotten.
Act
He's not a
convictions.
bad. Listen,
but if you agree with
I want
Serena,
everybody
is
to
that
look in the
because it's
mirror
really not
tonight or look in the mirror today and tell me how
on a whole
pure you
different
are.
from what the judge
Because if
already
you
read
are,
in
you
that
want it, you're not a fun person.
Yeah,
I don't
and
mean that to be a
I think
smart
he's
ass,
going to be more
but-
inclined to be moved by the letters of
Next time we
others
watch
and the
Gangbang
sentencing
Bar,
guidelines and the
Right.
things that are already in
you know,
place.
like,
Anyway,
True.
the question is how much he moves
Everybody's
off the
watching
dime
right.
from that.
You
Again,
think they
he
don't get
should
those hits
consider
for
what he
nothing?
said today. I think I said that earlier. But, you know, he probably had an idea what he was going to do.
Ken
And
Ford,
he
I
didn't
don't know. I might
you
probably
know,
not tonight,
he
Ken,
himself,
because of my birthday.
Maybe he was tipping toward. The judge was tipping toward doing
it's coming
whatever he
soon.
was going to do,
Wait, that's a
and there's a
really good
question
point,
as to
I
whether
guess,
he could move it a
So
tick
what's
one
the
way or the
difference
other
between this
by saying what
and
he
then
would
me being a
say.
porn
I think he had a
star
good
and
idea
you
of
as
where
a
he was
producer
going to be,
flying
and I
me out
think
to LA?
that considering what other
What's the
folks would
difference?
have to
'Cause
say
you're not a
would
prostitute.
probably be
You're not
equally
doing it for
important,
sex.
and maybe even
I'm
more
getting
so.
paid to do sexual
I
acts.
Sexual
believe
act-
it's fine
sexual
to
act
say.
on
The
a
judge
film
will
is
ask you
different.
what you think,
Yeah.
Jesse Weber.
No,
I don't think
it
so.
is.
I don't think the
It
judge
is not a bad
interested
question.
in what I have to say.
Nick's question was, what's the difference
What
between
are we
a
predicting
porn company
in
flying an
terms of a
actress
sentence
to
here
L.A.
now that we are only
and having her have
potentially
sex
8
with
minutes away?
a?
We've been covering
They
it
don't
all day.
classify that. They
We've been
classify
covering it
that
for
as
months now.
art.
I'll start with
They
you.
don't classify
What are
that
you
as
anticipating for a
prostitution.
sentence for Sean Diddy
Diddy was
Combs
filming all
after
of
he
it.
was convicted
That
of
could
these
be
2
art.
man accusations?
Well, they didn't fight that, and I'm glad they
You gotta
did.
need to be his lawyer.
They were worried about no.
Per what
They were
Serena
worried about the
says,
RICO,
Judge
and
Arun
he
Samaranian
did well.
came into this with a thought in his mind.
Why
of
does
what
he need to
wanted
be
the sentence
punished?
to be. He's
I
going
don't
to
get
consider
that.
it for his next 5 minutes. But if you're asking
Yes,
me,
thank
my
you,
prediction
Kara.
is still
The
that
shirt
5
says it
to
all.
7 year range. I don't think that he's going to go on the lower end, what the defense wants, that 14-month sentence. I don't think it's going to be quite as long
but
as
what
what
does
the
Kara know?
prosecution
I gotta
is
have a
hoping
talk
for
with
with
Kara.
the
I think her and
11
I need to go
years,
to
which is
lunch.
a significant amount of time. But 5 to 7 years to me is still pretty significant. I mean, if we're talking about his young daughter, Love,
Then you're calling her a
she's,
prostitute,
You know, a
Nick.
toddler
No.
at this point. Add 5 years, and she's nearly headed into later elementary school. That's a
I
huge
like Henry
chunk of a
D. I
child's
think I
life.
hope you're
And
right,
so
Henry.
I do
Thank
think
you
the
for the
5 to 7
birthday
year
wishes,
range,
Dodo.
I'm maybe going to guess 5 years, if that's my guess.
Serena, I'll ask
Good
you what
point.
you think in
They
terms
should
of
be
a
able to do
sentence,
that.
and also, what can we expect from Judge Arun Subramanian? Is he going
They
to be
do it
making
in
a
Nevada.
significant long
She
statement
tells
as
you.
well?
No, I don't know.
So
You
I
know
agree
Nevada.
with Sierra. I'm looking single digits.
I know
sentence
Nevada, 2
here.
counties
I think
in
the
Nevada.
judge is going to probably just meet in the middle between, the lower end of the sentence and
They're
the 11
being
years that the
safe, these
prosecution
people.
is
I
asking
did
for.
this
So
exact
I would
same
be
thing they're
comfortable
doing,
saying
guys.
probably
I was
5 to
one of the
6 years
experts on the
is
Casey Anthony
around where I
case.
think this will land.
And I sat here, and you
and
had to
like
come
Sierra
up with
mentioned,
shit to talk about.
The charges
I'm
that
here
he
to get the
was
sentence.
convicted of
It's
were
coming.
serious,
5-minute
but in
recess.
the grand
Let's
scheme of
go.
things with respect to the RICO charge that he could have been
It's the
facing
longest
are
sentencing
far
hearing I ever
less,
went.
severe than what he would have been facing. So
Yeah.
I do think there's going to be a significant cut
Sentencing, no.
on the sentence. And the judge, the judge is going to
We're gonna
give
do the Melly
a
case,
statement,
guys, if anybody
probably
wants
not
to
an
understand that.
extraordinarily long
The Melly
statement,
case
but a
with,
statement explaining his rationale,
Borton,
a statement that
whatever his
says,
name
I've
is.
heard from both sides.
He-
I
and that
credit
case is
such
really
and such
wild,
from
man.
this side
That's
of the
another
bench.
case I
I
think-
credit such and such from this side of the bench.
2
I don't
mistrials,
find
and they don't let him
these
out on bond.
particular arguments
That's crazy.
persuasive. He's going to break it down a little bit, and he's going to give his
I'm dying to hear
rationale
what the
and
judge
then
says.
probably end with the actual sentence amount.
You tell me, Joe, is there a possibility he could?
Yes, I knew a bunch of Greeks in
downgrade this
prison,
to
guys.
14 months, 16 months, 18 months. Why? Because he
Will-
said
will-
earlier
will
after
Doherty
hearing
get-
the children,
He's not going to get oiled
it
up,
was
but
important
who
to
knows
hear
what
them.
happens.
It was important to hear them. He just heard Sean Combs. His defense attorneys, almost all of them spoke. I believe almost all of them spoke. I don't know if that changed his consensus about this. You heard Sean Combs talk about the
Carrie, you live in
vile
Utah, huh?
conditions he was in
I don't know.
for
Is it?
over a year.
I don't know the laws in
Does
Utah.
that, is that matter? Does
I don't
that
know if there's
not?
any prostitutional
He wasn't
law-
convicted
prostitution.
of the more serious charges, which, by the way, when you talk about Mann Act convictions,
I'm doing
and
something
when they
young
can
does
reach
do.
the higher end of the scale, it's when they're usually coupled with a sex trafficking operation or a racketeering operation. There was violence a part of this. There were.
Listen, look
aggravating
me up on.
conditions
Oh,
a
you can
part
look me
of
up
this.
all over the place on the
But are
Casey
we
Anthony
looking
case.
at it the wrong way? Could the judge come back and shock us all and say 14 months, 18 months?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes. Tell me, Jesse.
It's possible, but I don't
Come
think
on,
it's probable
Jesse.
because among
I don't
other
think it's gonna happen
things,
either.
if he really deviates a long way down, I think he's going to have some explaining to do. And so he's going to explain himself anyway, right? But
I love
I don't
his
know that people jump up and
No,
down
I love
and
this whole
say,
setup.
there's some people that
I'm
really
really-
love Diddy.
I
He
gotta
comes in
give
too
Nick a
high.
lot of credit
oh
on
my
that,
God,
guys.
he gave him 8, 9,
I
10
do.
years. The
We
sky
set
is
this
falling.
thing up
There might be a few people.
really so
think
I
there
can
will
really
more
be a
people
content
that
creator
may may say
and not a tech guy.
that,
And that's
this
Nick.
was
I mean, we
a
work
slap in the
together, we
face
fight
of the
about it,
people
but
that
that's normal.
were the victims in this
But
case,
it's nice. I
you
hope
know,
you guys
et cetera,
are enjoying.
et cetera.
No
He
mess
really-
ups,
he lays
good for
down
audio,
a
whatever.
Great deal. So I think where we end up arriving
Give me an A
is
for
still
that.
somewhere in the sentencing guidelines. I think we stay there. Now, it's possible. I don't think we're looking at it the wrong way, Jesse, but it's possible that despite how we're looking at it, judge being the judge can say
I
that
wouldn't
for
do
some reason,
I wouldn't do
this is
anything,
an unusual
Ken,
circumstance.
if
I
he
think
came
he's
to my
gone through
prison.
enough.
He'd probably
I'm
have to come to
compelled
me
by
for
him
something,
saying
books or
X, Y,
stamps or
Z. He
gambling.
was not convicted of those other crimes. I'm looking at it in light
Not
of
at
the crime
all.
that he was actually convicted of, etc., and arrive
Oh,
there.
no
I don't think it
prostitution, but a
happens
lot of
that way.
massage parlors in
Him
Utah.
saying, "I
so
want you to
whoever
make an
told you it's
example
legal
of
in
what a
Utah is
person
wrong."
can do if they get another chance." To me, that felt like a powerful statement. Particularly, again, you go to this idea of the work that he's been
You're
doing
right,
inside,
Sandra. The moral police are
and
bullshit.
if he-
They're
you
only
take him
moral
at his
to who they
word,
don't
he
want.
genuinely feels remorseful, wants to lead a different life, has the opportunity, the resources, the prestige, where people will listen and maybe they can change their lives. In that sense, if we take it all as true, there is a benefit there, but it doesn't negate what he did. It doesn't negate what
The
he was
prosecutors
convicted
didn't
of. It
blow
doesn't
that
negate
case,
that there
Lux.
are
They
victims
mischarged
in this
him.
case. It's not a victimless
Come
crime.
on, let's get this. They tried
Sierra,
to get
we
this
have
guy
this
because he's a
comment from
billionaire.
It's Me
That's
Trish.
scary, man.
He wasn't worried about his child or his children when he did all of this.
Oh, stop
Why
it,
should
Jesse.
The judge worry about
Now you're
the
judging
child?
me because I wasn't worried about my kids? That pisses me
That's
off.
a hard one because if we're talking about children, they're innocent in all of this. I mean, none of us really picked our parents. I'm sure Diddy's children
point,
they
John.
didn't pick him as a dad. They just kind of, were born and that's what it was. And so the kids are innocent if you're thinking about it in that way. They didn't choose their dad. They didn't choose that he would be caught up in all of this and go into the conviction. So if we're looking on that hand, that
Lux,
sort of
the only
thing,
reason they have a high
yeah, it
success
is
rate
valuable
is
to
because most
consider
people
that
turn
these
or
kids
flip,
would be raised
and they'll
without
arrest
their
30
father, and
people,
that's tricky.
25
However,
take pleas.
to the point of
and
whatever
that's where
our
your
viewer
conviction
was
rate.
who wrote in this question, was P. Diddy thinking about his kids when he violated the Mann
Stop
Act?
that,
when
Sierra. I
he
like
did this
you.
crime that he's now been convicted of? If he really was a great dad, we're showing the video here of him being, a caring father
hope.
who's a family man. But was he thinking about his children when he was going through and all of the allegations that we heard at trial a lot?
So sorry to interrupt. I want to let you know, Judge Subramanian is back. He has begun officially delivering his sentence.
Here it comes.
He says to the court, he says to Sean Combs, "At the outset, I want you to understand, Mr. Combs, you are not being sentenced for acquitted conduct." So he's not being sentenced for racketeering. He's not being sentenced for sex trafficking. But under 3553, which, by the way, is the federal statute regarding imposition of a sentence, under 3553, I must consider many things. Mr. Combs, you are a self-made artist who has inspired community of color. Okay, so we're stopping right there. We're waiting for these updates to come in real time.
Wow.
Serena, does that I'm going to tell you, there's a but, right? Yes, you've done many things, but.
This is so.
And that might
I
not
don't
be
believe
good
how
for
it.
Sean Combs.
I wouldn't leave here right
When a
now
judge
if they
gives
told me.
any
I
sort of
wouldn't leave
remarks
right now
like
for
that,
nothing.
There's always a but. And when you start hearing good things, be
He was
prepared
freaking
for the
good for
flip
him.
side because it's coming. And I will say to your earlier comments about turning life around, this is a very different type of crime than your typical one-day event. Yes, he was a great guy in certain other aspects of his life, perhaps, but he was living a lifestyle of these crimes. It's very different from a defendant who appears in front of a judge who
Greg
had
Beats
one
says I'm
bad
getting
day,
my heart broke.
right?
Yeah, maybe a
Got
little.
robbed one person, got into a fight with one person and stabbed that person. This was a lifestyle.
Okay,
And what's
another
wrong with the
update.
lifestyle?
Judge says, we saw the video.
Okay.
The free game course in the MDC. The court hopes you continue to expand it. You are devoted to your family. The court, of course, considers the collateral consequences. The court has to consider all of your history here. And that's true, by the way. The factors to be considered in imposing a sentence are I'm looking at the statute, the nature and circumstances of the offense, the history and characteristics of the defendant, the need for the sentence to be imposed, the kinds of sentences available, the kind of sentence and the sentencing range, any pertinent policy statement, the need to avoid unwarranted sentence disparities among defendants. So, just looking for an update here. Okay. A history of good works can't wash away the record in this case. You abused these women. You used that abuse to get your way. Freak-offs and hotel nights. The evidence of the abuse is massive. I was sitting right here during the testimony. Joe, this isn't good for Sean Combs.
No.
no, it's not good for Sean Combs because he started
Shut
off
up.
with good stuff and he says, but on the other hand, you know what I mean? Because to my mind, I mean, it could be different, but a lot of times you start off
Me too, Kara.
with the part, not with the part that you're going to end with. You know what I mean? Here's the good news, but here's the bad news, and here we are because of the bad news, as opposed to here's the bad news, and here's the good news, and here's where we are because of the good news. I think the order of things may dictate that, you know, he's going to come at him, and it's not going to be a low-end type sentence.
Sierra, this is very consistent with what we talked about before, where that video was being played of Sean Combs, where you look at his history of helping others.
I got to
you
hear
look
what
at
these
his
people
works
say.
in the community. You and I had talked about it.
A
The
good
argument
birthday
would
gift.
be,
This is twice.
Yes, but at the same
O.J.
time, he was
Simpson
committing crimes.
and B. Diddy.
Or after his apology video for Cassie, he was accused of committing crimes. It seems that the judge is being consistent with this, and I apologize if I have to cut you off if the judge says something, but your thoughts?
No, please do cut me off because I want the updates as much as you do, Jesse, and so do our
Good for
viewers.
you,
But
Sierra.
I think it's confusing here,
That's why I
right?
like
But
her.
two things can be true. P. Diddy can have all the love in the world for his children, and he can be a great dad to them. But on the other side of the coin, he did commit these acts, and it is violence. And I think the
Yep.
thing that was most telling to me from what we've heard. All right, let's hear that update, Jesse.
Sierra,
Judge.
Sierra, I'm going to throw it right back to you, but this is the judge. This was subjugation. That is the reality of what happened. These offenses irreparably harmed two women. You plied them with drugs. Why did it happen so long? You had the power and resources to keep it going. You were more than a John. Again, Sierra, it was the idea of this happened so many times. I said I think that was something the judge was going to consider here.
And what he said.
How many times has Sarah been
is
in a
that
threesome?
I was sitting right
Sierra.
here. I heard the testimony. And I think that is what is so vital when we were talking about the way that the judge was going to end up with all of this sentencing,
beautiful.
is the fact that it wasn't today he
More I
decided
drink.
it. It wasn't in the 3 months that he had to go through and read all of those letters. No, it was when he was
Yeah,
sitting
look.
there in the courtroom,
Yeah.
seeing Cassie and Jane and Mia and all of the testimony there, that this happened over
I like
and
my stream
over
deck.
again. It wasn't, to your point, to what Serena said earlier, this wasn't a one-time thing. This was a pattern of abuse that the prosecution
crazy.
put on and displayed, and then here we have a conviction. And so I do think that all of this is kind of running through Judge Arun Submarinian's mind as he's coming forth, putting down this sentence, because, I mean, it's really hard to ignore.
All
Most
right,
of them are.
Judge, this just came in. A significant sentence is required to deter. You say you're sorry and you won't do it again. After Miss Ventura's civil lawsuit was filed, after the video was public, an investigation started. You had a brutal hotel night with Jane, punched her in the head. Serena, that is the key here. That is something we have talked about during the course of the day. It didn't deter him. There were
Sierra,
significant
you'd be at
episodes
a
that
Diddy
came
party.
out after the investigation, after
So
the
would Jesse.
apology. He was arrested with materials in his hotel room that would indicate
Yeah,
a free
true.
call.
It's a big thing too.
I think we're
I
looking
wanted to be
here
invited.
at
You're not high class.
maybe
I know.
5 to 7. I don't know yet. What can happen any second, but I think we're looking at significant prison time here.
Yeah, I mean, I think the
I'm
judge
sticking with
made
my set,
an
72 to
incredible
60
note
months.
That,
60 to 72
you had
months.
the chance to deter. You did. You were
6
not
years.
deterred. You were given an opportunity
He's not gonna say
over
years,
and
he's gonna
over
say
again,
months.
specifically during the investigation, and you can't be stopped. And if you can't be stopped, I'm going to have to be the one to stop you.
Oh,
Yep. And by the way, the judge has considered his history.
Shut
He
up.
said about the fact that he became Sean Combs after his father died. That is especially impressive given the early violent death of your father and the trauma that must have left. So he's appreciating all this, but at the same time, he's hitting all of the factors, and he's talking about the evidence that came out during the course of this trial. He just said, Jane says he told her, take this pill, go out there, bleep his bleep, bleep him, I don't care. The court is not convinced this would not happen again. The court has considered the programs. They are outweighed by the trial record in this case. Now I'm wondering here, Joe, are we talking double digits?
no.
I think we're going a little higher. We'll see how high we go. But
Shut up, Joe.
5 to 7 at least, and maybe even a little bit more. That's
We're all
that's what it's-
subject. We're
that's
all
what it's sounding
guessing,
like.
guys.
You know, and there are.
I've
there's
seen
an
federal
argument
judges
that
do crazy
The record
shit.
supports that.
You don't know what he
know,
thinks 60
Diddy
months is. He
was
might think that's a lot of
extra
time.
arrogant, and the length of time, I think, is incredibly persuasive.
You're changing what I said,
and
didn't
moving
you,
for the
Greg?
judge.
What I
Obviously, this
said.
is not something that happened once.
I
or
said
twice. You
60
gotta
months
stand
and
across the
36
street.
paper.
This was built into what Diddy did. This was his culture, and
Stop it!
he
You
was
guys
truly
don't even know
lawless.
prison. You don't know
just to put
fucking
it wherever
people.
he
You don't know
is.
nothing.
And
Unless
so,
you are.
The judge has been very honest about, I don't think that this deters you. And, I
want to
you
go to
that-
a Diddy
that
party.
tracks with me.
Damn, you can't
Maybe
go to
we're
jail
all
for
wrong,
long.
but to go off of what we've had happen and had said and had done and the trial record, that's not unreasonable for the judge to say that.
Brian, the year
I
counts
am wondering
and game
also,
time.
Serena, if this is grounds for an appeal, where the court says I'm not sentencing you on racketeering or sex. Okay, hold on. Here we go.
Uh-oh.
Exploitation and violence against women must be met with real accountability to promote respect for the law. Okay?
I need a drink,
hold on one
guys.
second. I'm getting the sentence right now. Okay, here we go. Oh, boy.
I'm sweating.
Exploitation and violence
please.
against women must be met with real accountability to
Nick,
promote
please.
respect for the law. The court reaches a few conclusions. 135 months would be more than necessary. Now, I don't know if that means that that's the actual sentence right now, but 135 months is over 11 years in prison. So over 11 years in prison would be more than necessary. That's what the judge is saying here,
More.
Serena. I don't know if that's the official sentence as of yet. We're waiting to get confirmation about that. But what does that say?
Well, just to throw that number out there like that means that at least he was considering the 11 years that the prosecution put forth, and maybe even more than that. It sounds like he's kind of tempering it, like that is more than necessary, and it'll be less than the 11. But it also sounds like he at least considered it very seriously as an option.
72 months.
Now I'm wondering, Sierra, are we talking 7 years? I mean, again, it's something we talked
Shut
about
up!
earlier. Maybe the benefit of the family speaking and the benefit of the work that he's done was not to get to 11 years, but not to go lower than the 5 to 7 range.
He got
so
screwed. No
that
matter what
may
he
have been
gets.
the benefit, but I'm
It's not
wondering
final
if 7
yet,
years
guys.
is what we might be looking at. Again, I'm waiting for official confirmation on the sentence here, Sierra.
I think that is possible here, that maybe he's saying, okay, yes, the prosecution, the government brought forward this number of 11 years. Yeah, that is more than necessary based on, we actually have an update, Jesse. I'm going to throw it back to you.
Yep, a sentence over 11 years is not reasonable. So anybody that thought he would get 20 years, that's not happening. A sentence over 11 years is not reasonable. Even the probation department recommends a sentence less than half of that. But 14 months time served, that would not be sufficient. So
I
he
said
has
that.
rejected the defense's recommendation of 14 months. In
Man,
other
you
words,
should see our
Diddy is
tension
not
in there right
getting
now.
out of prison. He is not getting out of prison today. When he would, we're waiting. I'm not, it's not like I have these updates and I'm
You're
purposely
wrong, Cam. He's not
delaying.
getting it.
I'm getting to them in real time as we are getting them. Sierra, so again, we're now looking at between 14 months and 11 years, but I
You're
guess,
just guessing,
again,
Jen.
going back to this idea of, are we looking at 7?
I mean, all speculation as of right now, but I think the most important thing is what you just said there, Jesse. P. Diddy, Sean Combs, is not getting out of jail today. And the 14-month recommendation that the defense brought has just been thrown completely out the window. The judge says, no, that's not sufficient enough. And I think what he's saying could be taken in a couple of different ways.
Oh, my God.
One, that
Wait.
the
Oh,
11
this is
years
gonna be good.
is sufficient. Yes, I mean, based on your conviction here, because again, remember, this is a conviction. 11 years makes sense. It checks out. I agree with the prosecution.
No,
But
you
to what
don't.
Serena said earlier, perhaps, and we do have a new update,
I know.
Jesse.
I wish
back
that-
to you.
I think we have the official sentence right
Uh-oh.
now.
Here we go, guys.
For Sean Diddy Combs, after being convicted of 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. The judge has just said, here the data shows a wide variety of sentences. Weighing all of the relevant factors, the court determines that the sentence is 50 months of incarceration.
Whoa!
So
Whoa!
50 months of
Whoa!
incarceration is a little over 4 years. It's 4.16 years in prison. Now, that is a bit lower than what the range was.
I was right. I'm so happy.
Sierra. Let's start there. If I'm reading this correct, and we're talking 50 months, and I'm waiting for, we have another update coming in. I'm just waiting to see what it is. But right now, it appears that Sean Combs has officially been sentenced to 50 months of incarceration, so 4 years in prison. You talk about time.
He's out in a year.
Right, about a year. Are we talking now then 3 years, right, Sierra?
What is Sierra now? I'll tell you what he's going to get.
Yeah, so about
Dad,
3
let me
more
call
years
Paul. We're going to have
based
a
on
show
the
on
1
that.
year that
I'm
he's
getting Paulie
already
on, guys.
served. And I guess, I mean, it is a win for P. Diddy, and that the government asked for 11. You know, the recommendation was 5 to 7, which a lot of us guessed would happen. I mean, yes, he wanted to be out today. That was his goal. The defense, of course, wanting the 14
I'm usually pretty
months.
close.
But 3 years compared to the 11 that the judge
Shut
says,
up,
yeah,
Sierra, because that's not, he got
warranted.
4.
I mean, there's a
He
huge
did a
difference
year.
in the range there, more than a decade versus less than half of a decade. We've got another update.
Henry, you're right. I've been hot.
Serena, Sean Combs was sentenced to 50 months of incarceration by Judge Subramanian, so a little over 4 years.
You're right, Alvaro.
That minus the 14 months already served. Is that the appropriate sentence?
Yes.
Serena.
Well,
No.
I'm sure Diddy is not thrilled to not walk out today, but he should be pretty happy with his defense team because I think the judge giving less
Maybe
than
you-
half
she's good.
of the prosecutor's recommendation and also
Yes,
less
guilty
than
be
the,
1 or
what
2
the
years, about
pre-sentence
2 years.
report had said is a win for him. I do believe that 4 years is a win in this particular case.
Joe, what did it?
2 months
was
over
it his
4.
letter? Was it the letters of
No,
family?
it was the
children
crime.
Speaking? Was it the work
You
they
did
doing
it,
behind
Jesse.
bars? Was it
Don't
the
tell me you
nature
haven't been to a
of these
party.
charges?
Don't
You know,
tell
as
me
much
you
as
haven't
we
been to
say
a lawyer
that
function or some shit and had a
the
couple
judge is
girls
not
on the
convinced
side.
to throw
Come
out
on.
charges, right?
Let's
The
be
defense
real,
put forward that
guys.
motion
Let's
saying
be
transportation
fucking
to engage in
real.
Prostitution should be thrown out. This is not prostitution.
Girls, too.
Protected by the First Amendment. The
I'm
judge
not
didn't
saying
buy
they
it,
did it.
but
I'm not saying people
the
like
argument,
me.
hey, he wasn't
Oh.
convicted of racketeering. He wasn't convicted of sex trafficking. Just the prostitution charges can't create a disparity based on other defendants who are
Yes, the
sentenced.
proper
Maybe 4
sentence. In
years
fact, it should have been
is
less.
appropriate and won't be overturned on appeal.
That's not going to be
Yeah,
overturned.
I mean, I think he had to position this a certain way. And there's a couple things to figure in. First of all, we got to go back to the fact that the defense did an enormous job in getting him off of the most serious charges, right? So we're
Yeah,
talking about
well, we know
something
that, bro.
It's going to be smaller and it's going to be less time anyway.
Yeah, he's
Next,
gonna be in
there's
a minimum
probation
security.
department recommendation, right? Which put things.
not-
in a
I'll know
certain
the prison
place.
he goes
And
to
it
too,
sounded
guys,
like
so
even
I'll
though
be talking
the
about
judge
that.
talked about how 11 years wouldn't have necessarily been unreasonable.
It's not a joke sentence. In fact, in my mind, it's still too much.
If I am hearing it correctly, he still is in line in that he doesn't want to do something that'll necessarily be appealable, and he wants to arrive somewhere not too far afield from the recommendations themselves. And so, again, here's Diddy in a situation where he did a lot better than he
I don't know
might
about
have.
a pardon on this one.
And, you know, that 3 years is going to go by in no time.
He's going to go to a
And the
lower
day that he
camp.
was
Definitely,
found
maybe a
guilty
low to
of
start and then a
everything,
camp.
it
I think a
ensured that
camp
he would
he should
have
go
a
to.
date that he would get home at some point. Anyway.
No,
So he
probably
will
not
get
Florida.
home. He's better off than he may have been, than a lot of people would have been, even though
Yep,
he's
I'm
not
going to make
coming
a
home.
video.
Serena, does he serve the full 3 years or does he serve 85%? In other words, would he serve 2.5 years?
So there is opportunity for him to get out earlier on good behavior. And so the calculation is not exact. And time will tell whether he will be getting out with some time.
Riots. Why
off
would anybody
from
riot, Kara?
the
That's going to be a
full
good
3.
sentence.
I know it's a
I
4-year
mean,
sentence.
I think it's
Obviously,
too much.
14 months counts. You already
gotta
deduct
hear that.
I mean, that's definitely coming off because he
He
does
will
have
be at-
credit
I'm
for the
thinking a
time
camp,
served.
too.
So already it's less than the sentence that he's getting, the 4 years. But yeah, he could very easily be walking out sooner rather than later. So the children will have their father home sooner than they expected.
Yeah, I didn't meet
and
Tommy
as Joe
Silverstein.
mentioned
I was.
before,
I
he can be on
actually
his
went to the
comeback
cell he
tour,
was in.
You know,
when I was in Atlanta.
in no time.
Let's just, we had a poll up.
When I was in
What do you think
Atlanta, I
Diddy's sentence
saw.
would be?
Went to it.
So 31% said less than 5 years. They were
Good.
correct. It's interesting as we're processing the sentence of 4 years, time served 3, maybe 85%, so 2.5, 3 years. to serve behind bars. I wonder if he's actually going to now have to serve it at the MDC.
I agree with you,
because
Jonah. 17 months, 2 years he's going to do.
Sentence than we were anticipating.
That's about it.
I will say the court imposes
And I'm
a
going
fine
to
of
his party in 3 years.
$500,000, including to defray the costs of imprisonment. There is no restitution, but there is forfeiture as reflected in the order. There is a $5,000 fine.
They do,
under
Finn.
the
They move you
statute
away.
and a special
Sierra has
assessment
opinions.
of
I like Sierra.
$200. Sierra, I go to you.
They know
this
it, too.
is interesting because I also wonder what the reaction is going to be outside that
But,
courthouse in a few minutes.
but what about Kara?
What we're going to hear from the attorneys, what we're going to hear from supporters of Sean Combs, what we might be hearing
Do I think it's a fair
from,
sentence?
potential victims or
You know,
people who are there opposed to Sean Combs.
48 months is
Have
4
you
years.
seen
4 years and 2 months.
anything outside since the sentence has been read?
She got one in. He's going to get what they call the RDAP. He's going to get 7.5 months, probably good time. He's going to do about 2 years. A little less than 2 years.
It was,
Depending
intense.
how
You could actually feel
No,
the
well,
emotion. Now that the
for what he
sentence has
did-
been handed down, it seems to me like no one around us actually knows that it was handed down. I mean, it did just happen. We're probably one of the first ones to report it at all, but there's been no
I'm
promotion.
never going to make
There's
that
been
point.
no cheering. There's been no free Diddy, in support of
This
Diddy.
was it.
There's been no
I call it an
opposition to
amoral.
Diddy. That has
Because
been
everybody
pretty
behind
interesting
closed
to me
doors does
overall.
crazy
I mean,
shit.
As far as what we're going to hear from the attorneys, I said this about the verdict, and I'm going to say it about this too. I think it's a win for P. Diddy. I mean, the fact
No,
that he's
Sierra.
up against this RICO charge, the racketeering conspiracy, had he been convicted of that, he
Something
could have
about
faced
her.
essentially the rest of his life behind bars. Now he had pretty much the lowest charge that he was convicted of, this transportation to engage in prostitution. And now, based on what Serena is saying with the 4 years, and maybe he could serve less based on, good behavior, etc. I'm going to say that's a huge win for Diddy, especially when his life was in the balance. And I
No,
wonder if
Sierra,
that's
he
what we're
beat the
going to see. When our
RICO, he
prosecutors
beat
are
the
gonna say,
trafficking.
"We asked
What
for
did he do?
11 years."
You went on
The
that
judge
plane.
says it was warranted, and yet we didn't get the 11 years. And I wonder if the defense is going to say it's still too much, it's far too long, getting out
agree.
with his children, we're going to appeal. I mean, so there's still
They're
a
appealing.
lot ahead.
Well, first of all, the judge said this
She is pretty.
quote, hard time, but also indicated
I'm
that he's
just
going to have a
reading what
life
people
after
are
prison. He'll be, 59, 60 years old, potentially, probably 59 years old. The judge says, I want to speak to the strong women who came forward. Miss Ventura and Jane, you've been through trauma we can't imagine. Miss Ventura said it was forced sex and degradation. I want to say, we heard you. You weren't just speaking to the jurors, but to other victims. You
Right,
stood up
you
to
don't know what he
power.
did to anybody.
It's not easy. Violence behind closed doors doesn't have to stay secret forever. I know you still bear trauma, but you've taught us you don't have to stay a
Yes,
victim.
username, I am.
Now, Serena, that
What
is
you do
important.
behind
That's
closed
an
doors and
important
you invite
statement from
me
the
and
judge
or I
here,
invite you, that
because
should
there
stay
are
there,
those who will
unless
look at
it's
this
illegal.
and say,
And
this
there's
is not
nothing
enough
with
time.
kids.
That this doesn't recognize what the victims went through in a case like this, particularly Cassie, when we talk about the video that was shown. It's felt very deliberate on the part of the
Right,
judge.
I
But
agree, Greg.
to be clear, the prosecution doesn't have grounds to appeal this. Oh, the judge said 11 years, gave 4. They can't fight this, right?
They are not fighting
Correct.
it.
They
None.
can't.
It's in
And
the
I agree
guidelines.
with
They're
you
done.
that
Just go home.
It does seem like the judge was issuing a little bit of an apology to the women, to Cassie, to the victims for this sentence, which is an interesting point. I mean, the judge obviously knows that unlike most cases, this will
Thank
be
you, hardcore
publicized one
casual
way or
MMA.
another. People will have very strong opinions about the fact that a 4-year sentence really calculates to basically like 2.5 more years in prison
2
for
years.
Diddy.
Think about it.
Which does feel probably to the victims a little bit like a slap on the wrist. So I do think that that statement was necessary from the judge. I
Ray
don't know that
G,
it's
I'm
going to fix
doing
the
it
feelings
starting
that
this week.
Cassie and
So you can
others
see a
may
lot
be
more
feeling
stuff.
right now.
I love my
Joe,
setup.
we have a question from Jane Elaine. The judge specifically mentioned that he exploited women, but that wasn't the charge. So does he have grounds to appeal and get the sentence overturned?
No,
I'm
I
not
don't think
offending.
that he
Usually, I'm
will.
not offending a sex offender.
Again,
Period.
There's a lot
I'm
of
offending.
crossover in
I
terms
am
of some of
defending
things that
the system.
occurred.
Please
It
get
is,
that right.
there's an argument, there's a form of exploitation, transferring somebody across state lines, transporting them for purposes of prostitution. So I don't think that there would be grounds just because of the words that he used.
I just say Kitty's not a piece of shit,
There's
but
a
he did not
lot
deserve
of
what he
gray
did.
area here in terms of the crossover between the crimes. There are some larger statements to be made. Not every statement that he made is within the context of the trial what he was tried and convicted of. So in other words, if he
Federal
was to say,
freakers,
for instance, Diddy, you've done some bad things. Well, yeah, he has done some bad things, and he's talking generally about the fact that he's done some things that are reprehensible, etc. So not every word he's going to use. I think there's an argument that he did exploit women. I think that it is a form of exploitation to transport someone across state lines, etc. So there's not going to be this technical violation for using that.
You think about what he's about to go through here, Serena. By all accounts, the way that he described it in his letter, today in general, it was hell. I mean, he went through a year of hell in that MDC.
Yeah, MDC sucks.
No sympathy there, but you think about what he's.
Yeah, Jesse. Now you got sympathy. Jesse, you got to come. You're either
of that.
But one way or the other.
Facility. What is his life going to look like?
It's a hellhole, that place.
Well, MDC is really a hellhole, like you mentioned.
She said what I said. Did you see that?
Everybody who's incarcerated there goes through that, not just Sean Diddy Combs. He does have this platform to kind of educate people now about the prison conditions and jail
Thank you,
conditions,
Kara.
and
Smash
that's
the
great.
likes, guys. Give me
But it's not like he's
what do you
special.
call it?
It's not
Subscribe.
like he's unique. Everybody who gets accused of a crime and detained while facing those charges.
I
has
got
to go
pissed
through
that even mentioned that girl.
His life
Kara.
is going to be not so great. I mean, if he goes upstate, it'll probably be
Who is
better than it has been.
He is
at
going.
MDC,
What do you mean?
To be honest,
He's
with
getting
you.
out of MDC,
He'll
guys.
probably
Let's get
have
that
better
straight.
treatment upstate than he will.
And it's not
have-
upstate.
than
It's wherever
he's
the feds
had
wanna
at
take
MDC.
you.
That being said, obviously
He's going on
he's
Con
going to
Air.
be isolated.
I've been on
He's
there
not
a
gonna
lot.
Have his
16,
freedom.
18, 20
He's not going to
times.
have this publicity, where he goes to court and everybody talks about him. So hopefully he'll have some time to reflect on this. Maybe he'll do
This
some
is good, though, isn't it?
back there. He'll help
I
some
love the setup.
fellow
You did a great
inmates,
job.
entertain them.
Yeah.
Whatever
Yeah.
else it is. And
Right
then
behind me.
When he comes out, hopefully he'll be changed. But it does seem
Stop
like
it. I don't
a
want him to
short period
change.
of time
What did he
for
do
him to be able to
wrong?
change behind
Yes,
bars
the
back
beating of
there.
the girl.
Judge Arun Subramanian just
I know,
said this
Nick,
to
but
Sean Combs,
it's part of his
he's likely
behavior.
in a dark place right now. But, quote, there is a light at the
Kara's
end
a
of the
friend
tunnel.
of mine. Kara's my
These
girl.
letters, all those letters that I saw, show that you have a universe of people who love you. Let them lift you up now, just like you've lifted them up for so many years. Sierra, this is from a human point of view. I have to tell you.
Alessandra,
From a
you
legal
don't
point
know
of view,
that.
I'll tell you. Judge Arun Subramanian, throughout the course of this trial, I was very impressed.
Oh, look at Alro. I
with
got my
his
boots. I got
rulings.
my
I was
hat.
very
Nick,
impressed with
you
his
see that?
demeanor,
Oh, they've been
how he
doing it the whole
handled
street.
such a high-profile
Anytime they saw
case
Morty, they said,
with
"Does he
difficult
have his
subject
boots?"
matter.
Where's Morty?
And to take the time to address both Sean Combs
I kicked that,
and to
drill
address
over right
the
there,
victims
Oh,
in
it's
this
over.
case
He
in
went
a
to the
very
bathroom and
particular
he
way,
was,
it says a lot about this judge. And I have to just tell you, from a personal point of view, I was very impressed with the way
Yes,
that
the
he handled
judge
it.
did right.
What's your take on this?
I'll tell you, the defense did right, too.
Because
I
today
can't
being
hear you.
back here
Come
in
on.
the Southern District of New York, I'm kind of going back in my mind and reviewing the case as a whole. I mean, I know I covered it every day. You did, Elizabeth did. So we all were kind of immersed in all of this. And I was thinking about how
Username, he
Judge
was
Arun
not
Subramanian
convicted of
really
whatever
had the
you
weight
think.
of the world on his shoulders today when it comes to the sentencing in terms of how much is at stake. And I was thinking back to all the rulings that he
Oh, I could
previously
tell
made,
Diddy
and I
exactly what
thought
to
that
buy
he
in the
was very
commissary, how to
diplomatic.
handle
I
it.
mean,
You should do good.
Personally
You'll be
see
all right.
any sort of wild favoritism for one side or another. I thought that it was interesting today that he ruled that the victims were victims.
Shadows
that he
here.
was going to
We don't know
take
what
into
he is, but
consideration
good
some
for
of the
him. I don't care what he
testimony in
does.
regards to, the RICO charge, the racketeering conspiracy, in
How do you-
regards to this conviction on the transportation to engage in prostitution. But I do think he did a very good job of being fair, addressing Diddy, saying this isn't the end of the line for you. You said that you had remorse. You said that there was reform. You still can do that while also
Appeal.
acknowledging the huge amount of trauma that these victims
won't
have
win.
had to endure on a public stage, no less. This is, one of the most high-profile cases we've ever covered here on Law and Crime, and I think he did so
2
very
years
eloquently.
more. He's already did a year.
So the judge, by the way,
He's been-
later on,
Who?
we're going to have Elizabeth Milner
Big
out,
belly on
and we're going to do
Oh,
a special
19,
sidebar
2019.
episode with her because I
I
want to
looked
know
that
what
up.
it was like
7 years.
in that courtroom when this sentence was handed down. I want to know what it was like.
He's
when
getting
Sean
screwed,
Combs
Nick.
delivered his words.
We're going to do a video on that because he's
So
getting
we're definitely
screwed.
going to get her on to talk about that.
Yes,
I
Greg,
do want
the
to say,
system is
I
broken.
want to thank everybody for coming on, and I want to get some final thoughts.
I'm gonna do that bake
um,
sandwich.
Serena, I'll start with
It's
you.
Nick.
It's been a long day. It's been a long 2 years since this all began, really. It's been a long trial. Your
Well-
thoughts on this?
Well, I think it's the end of a very long chapter, as you said. I think that the trial was comprehensive. I think the sentencing date was comprehensive. Like, I do think that every single box was checked throughout this
I
entire
agree with this
experience.
lady
It
right
didn't
now.
feel rushed. It didn't feel like anybody dropped any balls.
Okay,
really. I
Finn,
mean,
I
everybody
get it.
fought for their side of the argument, and the judge, I agree with you, was listening and made rulings throughout that seemed thoughtful.
Sad to hear, Finn. I'm
and
glad
based
you're
on
out.
law. So, look,
I
I
feel you. I
think
know
that the
Hazelton
judge
well. I know
came
people
in
there.
with probably what he expected to say and didn't change what the sentence he anticipated giving was. I think that the sentence feels a little low.
I disagree with you.
But I also
Why do you? Because you're a
understand
woman,
that the defense
and I
did a
think
nice
it's too
job
high.
at making sure that Diddy was not convicted
God,
of the
am I
worst
the only
of the
one
worst,
willing to
and we're
accept
left with
or
two
admit
crimes that
all
really don't
of us
carry
people here,
necessarily
everybody
the
on this
lengthiest
chat
of
and in this
sentences. So
show,
I think the judge
we're
tried
all
to
freaks in our
balance
own
out
way.
everybody's arguments.
None of you going to
look
church,
at the
and I hope
probation
not.
report,
I
and
don't
kind
mean
of
go to
meet
church, I meant
somewhat in the middle,
play an
but
egg game.
gave
I think
gave
we
Diddy
need
a
to
little bit of
bring
a
up
boost
the-
there.
Darling 618
What is the
618
difference
asked me,
of
Jesse, do you
flying
think
an
this was
8
fair?
especially
I don't know if
That's a
fair is
great
the word I would
one.
use.
That's
Do
a
I
great one.
understand
to
it?
a
Absolutely.
gangbang and then flying
Absolutely.
her back
This
home
was
and then
not
totally
going to be a
ignoring her.
situation.
It's a
where
very
he was
good
gonna get
question,
10 years
and-
in
and-
prison.
Paying her
He
only-
wasn't convicted
let's
of the
say we
most
paid
Let-
serious charges.
$1,000.
Nick-
Without
and you made $1
coupling
million.
that,
Nick,
without tying
Nick
that
had a great
to
point. What's the difference
prostitution
between bringing that
charges, it mitigates it.
19-year-old
It makes it less of a
prostitute
crime.
from
But
New York
the
to
amount of times
California?
that
You're
he
saying
did this,
prostitute.
Well,
the
no,
level
New
of
York
violence
porn
that was
star
used,
or whatever.
the deception
And
that
do
was
so-
used, the
You're
aggravating
paying her, I don't
factors
know.
that contribute to it. I understand that he's not getting out of prison today.
Yes, you're right.
The idea
It's
of
Frank.
14
Everyone
months,
wants to get free. Why
it was
not?
It was a
One
stretch.
more point is
So it
it's
seems that
especially
from
wild
the
is
statement.
having
Now,
in New
listen,
York.
Alessandro, I
the
agree
work
with
that
you.
he's been doing,
The abuse of
impact
his
he
girl
can
was
have
dead
on the
wrong.
outside. It seems that the judge believes him, that he can be a force of good on the outside, that even deviating from the 5 to 7 range by a year, time served, 3 years.
Dead wrong.
There are people who think it's
But
too
it
low.
wasn't
There's
part of the
people who think
case.
it's too high.
Now, if that was
I will
like
just
her
say I
trying to
understand it
leave one of
based
these
on
freak
the law.
offs,
Joe,
And he
then
would
it's
let
like
it-
lock
right,
him up, bro.
right,
Lock
right,
him
right.
up.
100
If
rate.
she was trying to run away from a freak
As it pertains to my thoughts,
lock her, lock
Agreed.
him
I
up.
thought that
But
the
nobody's
judge,
ever said that.
But she
was
was.
very
And
fair
nobody's ever
all the
said
way
it.
So
throughout.
that's kind of me defending your point of
very
like,
thoughtful,
what did happen.
Did things the right way,
Shouldn't have beat her up like
and
that.
showed that he was thoughtful even when it came to this this final decision.
Thank you,
There are
hardcore
victims
casual
here,
MMA. You are 100% right, and
Their
exactly
job
how
is
I
to
feel.
get through from day to day, even though with what they've gone through, they may never get over those things.
Stop
And
it
that's
with the
something that
victim
they
shit.
always
Okay,
have to
I'm
live
done
with,
with these
and then
people.
my heart goes
I
out
gotta
to
be
them
done with them. I'm
because
sorry,
of
guys.
that. Diddy was
I gotta be done
morally
with these
wrong
people.
all day long.
Stop. I just shut him out. You know why? Because I'm sick of his morally wrong crap. What, there's an old saying. Don't throw stones if you live in a glass house. Meaning you don't. Listen, I can guarantee you, and I'll bet my life on this, I'm going back to prison, that out of those 4 people, and maybe a couple more, they've all did threesomes or gay shit or this shit or that shit. Who the freak knows? Oh, who cares? I don't. You're just not as famous as P. Diddy. So don't come off with this moral high ground crap. That is so wrong. Do you know what we did in the Roman days? And we did. Oh, you're going to get me on a really rare. Oh, boy. All right, guys. I'm okay with the sentence. It was a little less than I said. But, listen, I wish he would have got nothing. I even actually, Nick, I actually thought of 15 months. I don't know why.
No, and again, like my whole thing is like, if it didn't have the Cassie thing involved,
Yeah, oh, yeah.
let him off.
Listen, he should have still been let off. That's a prior. Are they
I know,
going to
that was
convict
my
me of
question.
torturing a guy?
Well, that was my question. Is like, she accepted the $30 million, so now why is she allowed to take the stand?
I love it. We all did bad things.
You
Most
know?
people haven't.
She was paid $30 million, and then now gets to actually get her justice again.
A username, I agree with you, but for that, there's no evidence of him hiring underage girls. Period.
There's no even rumor of it.
No. Why not die on this hill, guys? Tell me why. Finn, tell me why. Listen, username, more people do heinous things than you think. So I don't know what you think heinous is as well. Let me see what she has to say, my girl. Good job. I got to say that. They didn't wait, and I'm not going to wait as well. I'm going to close. It is my birthday, guys. I want to thank everybody for being here. This is exciting. I'll be talking about this case all night. So I just wanted to thank everybody for coming. I wanted to appreciate everybody. I hope, listen, I'm not always saying I'm right or wrong, but I will debate the law with you, and nobody has debated back at me and saying how this is a guilty or you should get worse.
But we
You do say a lot of things about morals. You say a lot of things like that.
They can't hear me, but I just locked in a debate with you and JD, so
Okay, good.
if you want to shout that out. If not,
Nick just told me, my producer,
you don't have to.
just told me that he locked in a good debate with me and JD DeLay, who's a good friend of mine. He's been in my house. I love JD. He's a good guy. We had total differences on this case, and we're going to talk about it. Nick locked it in. We will let you know.
And that's the great point about this is two best friends can have two widely different.
Absolutely, Nick. Nick
That's
said
what
it right.
the country is struggling on right now.
Two guys can, or two people can have totally different views. I will respect his view, and I'll debate his view. And if he changes my mind, good. If he doesn't, then good too. I just hope he opens his mind too. JD's a good guy. I think he will. Oh, let me just mention this, and I'll mention it off the cuff. If anybody knows who Ian Bick is a friend of mine as well, he was on a Mr. Beast video. The video was about him and a cop having to stay together for 30 days. Now, at the end of the show, he had an opportunity to steal the money from the cop, or the cop steal it from him, right? Well, let me tell you something, guys. If that was me, that cop is going home broke. Just saying. Just saying. $240,000. Ian, you're better than me, but I wouldn't have did it. Oh, why am I looking at the mic? You get what I'm saying, people? Just
Maybe
saying.
we gotta put the camera on the mic.
I don't know. Good enough. Hey, guys, thank you for the birthday wishes. I really do appreciate it. Thomas Hill, all you guys who just did that, too. I really do appreciate it. And
60 more seconds, forms and questions. Anyone know a loved one that's been in jail? Let me know.
if anybody out there has been in jail or prison, and especially federal prison, let me know where you've been. Keep doing that. Not only here, you can always go to my channel, and on my channel, Larry Lawton Jewel Thief at Gmail. I'll tell it like it is.
So comments, we'd rather have comments.
Oh, I want comments. Yeah,
Do
next
not
time.
email us. They-
Yeah, I don't
it's
look at me
messing
now.
everything up.
Yes, I am back, guys. So don't think I'm not. Thank you for the happy birthday wishes.
And one more thing, Lair.
He definitely paid Cassie. Yes, he did, guys, and it should have been out.
Hey, Lair,
What?
can you let everyone know they can't hear me or they can barely? Can you let
Car catch. Yes, I will be back at GTA Gaming sooner than you think.
But
That's
for right
all.
now, you're really into answering questions on your social media. Please.
Yes, I've been on social media, if you guys haven't noticed, on all the platforms. I'm going to be doing more videos just like this. I'm going to be doing reaction videos to cop cams, everything. I'm loving this setup I got, and that makes a big difference to
But
me.
if anyone has any questions on the topics, go ask.
Yes, no. What I want to say, guys, is this. Listen, I love your feedback. This is what makes me keep going. But please go to Discord. I have a great Discord crew. I have great Discord people. And when you get there, just tell them what you want to hear, what you want to do.
Can I
Nick,
say one more thing?
Sure, Nick.
Okay, guys, he just figured out how to respond to comments on social media. So if anyone has any questions on any topic, anything that you want to ask him, go to any of his socials, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram,
Okay.
comment, and he's going to respond with a video. And that really helps us.
Not everyone.
No, I don't think anyone, but
I might just respond to your comment, and I have been doing it. I'm loving it.
helps us,
I
yeah.
like the guys' interaction. That's what I'm a people person. We all know that. Thank you very much. I loved it. Diddy, 50 months, you'll do like nothing. Listen, I could sit on a toilet for 50 months. But I will say this. I have over 36 months in the hole. In the box, as they say. But, you want to say something, Nick? Go ahead.
How
Oh,
long?
school Nick, like he you guys are funny.
How long do you think that Larry? Just everyone in chat, just really quick before he gets offline. How long do you guys think that Larry could survive one of these Mr. Beast challenges of like in the hole or solitary confinement or locked up? Do you think that like because Mr. Beast called every prison creator except for I think the one person that would run him for his fucking money, bro.
Well, I think what happened there, personally, maybe I wasn't as much active, but besides even that, maybe my past is a little bit wilder than all the people they want. And you know what I mean, Nick, with violence or whatever. And I'm not violent anymore, guys. I am an old man who loves people, who loves to do what I do. I try to help people not make the bad choices I made. And you know that. I hope you do. And all I can say is I love you guys. Thank you very much. Stay strong. Stay safe. Make good choices. And I will.